This young man suddenly found himself transported to a strange world during an overtime shift. What happened? I was clearly working overtime at the game company and even testing the new sword skills, so why did I suddenly end up in this damn place? Standing before you is an old man with silver hair exuding a faint aura of immortality. Don't mind that, tell me what kind of magic did you just use? As he spoke, the old man looked toward the giant demon corpse split in two in front of him. Upon hearing this, Diep Duong demonstrated once again. Oh, you mean that? It's not magic, your arm glowed and flicked lightly. The intermediate level skill, Heaven and Earth Swordbreaker, level 100 max in the game, was activated with just one move. The planet's surface now bore a huge scar after witnessing this terrifying scene. The old man's eyes widened in astonishment. Indeed, legends falling from the sky are either immortals or perverts. By the way, the old man hinted at something. To the north, a demon army is causing trouble and hopes for help. Diep Duong calmly said that the Little Third has already handled everything there. The Little Third, he mentioned, was actually a three-headed ancient dragon summoned by a high-level demon sorcerer skill. With just its fiery breath, the Little Third swept through the entire demon army in the blink of an eye. Seeing this, the old man's voice trembled. This Little Third, please use it less in the future. I feel like it will destroy the entire environment of this world. Just as the atmosphere grew tense, Diep Duong suddenly shouted excitedly, I get it! The company's test account possesses all the skills of every profession. During the transition process, they were all absorbed by me. Diep Duong's game company uses a GM account to test accounts that have every profession such as Cultivator, Assassin, Mage, Marksman, Sword Emperor. All professions reach max level 100 and possess all accompanying skills. Seeing this young man acting so crazy, the old man looked at him with a judging gaze. What is a test account? It's truly a perverted thing, no doubt. Still, I trust you to take over the entire sect. Forget it, I don't care about those things. To be honest, if it weren't for me sensing you while you were unconscious, those demons would have eaten you long ago. As a person, you should know how to be grateful, understand. But before he could finish, Diep Duong knocked him off and said, That big-headed old man, that can't be the reason for me to inherit this broken sect. Only you deserve it. Although the old man was bitter, he couldn't argue with Diep Duong. He could only propose a condition. If you don't want to be sect leader, that's fine. Just make the sect #1, that's all. And so Diep Duong was brought to this strange world. As for inheriting a tiny, insignificant sect ranked below 100 in the city of Too High, and the old man left him this lifelong debt, so he left. That was settled right after. To raise the sect to the #1 position, Diep Duong went to the recruitment place of Too High City. But because the standards were too high, he couldn't recruit any disciples. Facing the sect's unreasonable demands, a disciple of Vo Kuk Tong couldn't help but shout, You're a pervert who bullies women. Stop making excuses. You will never recruit disciples. Vo Kuk Tong will collapse soon. Suddenly being insulted, Diep Duong gritted his teeth angrily. If it falls, I'll take the blame. I don't want to be the leader of this broken sect anymore. Diep Duong sent me back to Earth to work overtime. He was boastful, but didn't know how to return to Earth. Sitting there, unable to recruit any disciples, Diep Duong then dragged himself back to the sect. The crowd's chatter suddenly caught his attention. A group of fairy maidens fell from the sky. They must be disciples of the Eternal Sword Sect. Everyone there is exceptionally talented. Lang Nuoc Tuyet is even called the Sword Goddess Maiden. Yet they came here. 3 months ago, the Eternal Sword Peak was struck by a meteor and collapsed. The sect leaders' whereabouts have been unknown since then, leaving them with nothing and forced to wander. It's said they want to find a sect to rely on, but unexpectedly came to this small place. Hearing the crowd's talk, Diep Duong scratched his head and muttered, Eternal Sword Peak, isn't that the mountain shaped like a sword? I remember now. That was when I first came to this world to test skills. The high-level area of effect skill of the demon sorcerer was used on that very peak. Unexpectedly playing with fire, the Sectmaster was made to disappear by me, and I also created a bunch of homeless beauties. Just go, it's still better to leave here quickly, Diep Duong, because of the rat's stomach. So I want to find a way to escape here as quickly as possible, but the crowd suddenly went crazy and rushed forward. The beauties had no place to go, so they bumped into our sect. Our sect is the best choice. The representative of the Eternal Sword Sect, Lang Nuoc Tuyet, now drew her sword and stood in front, saying clearly, We choose you not, you choose us. The sects intended to send representatives here. This fierce momentum made the sects feel oppressed, not daring to step forward even half a step. After all, if it were before, the Eternal Sword Sect was not something these small sects could compare with at this time. Lang Nuoc Tuyet paid attention to Diep Duong's back as he was leaving. So this person is not interested in us. Could it be that we are not in his sight, unlike these people? He is really special, like a transcendent master or something. At that moment, A tall, burly man shouted loudly, "No one is allowed to choose. No one is allowed to move. No one is allowed to leave Liat Duong sect. We have so many women here already. No one is allowed to touch them. Be reasonable and let us handle this sect that has already declined but still acts arrogantly." After finishing, he waved his hand and called Diep Duong, the kid over there, telling him to turn back and face the old man. Hey, suddenly being called Diep Duong, was startled and didn't know how to respond. Should I run? No, the old man said the sect master must stand in front of the public to maintain the demeanor of a master. After thinking for a while, Diep Duong decided to stop and turn around coolly. So cool. What's the matter? This handsome look of yours made the big guy a bit displeased and wanted to act. Nonsense, what are you pretending to be cool for? The sect master of a trashy, declining sect. Now this place is under my control. I say that anyone entering or leaving must follow my rules. You girls also watch carefully. What do you call real strength, Diep sect master? I give you a chance to hit me 3 punches. If I nod once, you have the right to leave. I will let you go. He thought that was cool, but Diep Duong just pointed to his head and said, "Hit you, hey, old brother, are you out of your mind?" The big guy heard that and got furious, his anger blazing as he charged at Diep Duong. "Kid, do you want to die?" Suddenly someone wanted to die. Diep Duong sighed and threw a casual punch. That was enough to satisfy him. It looked simple, but it was actually a basic boxing skill. Direct overturning yellow dragon level max. With just one punch, the big guy was knocked flying and pinned to the wall, smashing countless stone tablets on the way. Seeing the opponent not move, Diep Duong suddenly felt a bit scared. Was he really hurt? The others trembled, unable to believe what was before their eyes. How could the infinite sect be declining? How could it have such a strong sect master? This one punch could have blown up the whole person. Before anyone came to hold Diep Duong accountable, he hurriedly turned and fled. Before leaving, he still didn't forget the old man's words about the demeanor of a master. The sect master of Liat Duong only needed 1 punch. The other 2 punches could be ignored. Bye-bye. This posture of yours has already made little sister infatuated. So handsome, really handsome. His movement style, his stubborn back, his sharp gaze all deeply captured my heart. Speechless with this little sister and not even already wanting to have children with him. Meanwhile, on Lang Nuoc Tuyet's side, she still hadn't recovered after witnessing that 1 punch just now. He is too special, completely different from the sects wanting to recruit us. So secretive and humble like that. He must be an unparalleled, hidden, powerful master. We must join this sect. After thinking for a while, she suddenly spoke up and chased after Diep Duong. Sect master, please stop." Hearing the call, Diep Duong slowly turned around and looked. Hello, may I ask what else you need?" He looked calm, but was actually trying his best to appear calm. The other said enviously, "It's just 1 punch. This guy might only know 1 punch. Definitely don't be fooled by him." But Lang Nuoc Tuyet didn't care, and expressed her wish to join the infinite sect. This was a bit sudden. Diep Duong awkwardly asked again, "You want to join our sect? Do you understand our sect?" Lang Nuoc Tuyet immediately replied, "No, but the sect master seems very trustworthy. You girls always follow handsome guys, huh?" Being a straightforward virgin, Diep Duong hurriedly interrupted. Stop. Never met you before, but already feel our sect is trustworthy. Miss, you're too careless." Lang Nuoc Tuyet was about to say more, but was silenced by Diep Duong, who said she didn't need to say anything the sect has already decided. "There is no fate between us. Forcing it won't bring happiness. Everyone better keep some dignity and we can still be friends. If rejected outright, the Sisters of Vinh Hang Sword sect will never speak again." Other sects seeing this change from jealousy to anger and rejection. Yet after rejecting this bastard, still rejected the goddess Lang Nuoc Tuyet, the prodigy of the new era. Her swordsmanship among the younger generation is unmatched so far. She is said to be unparalleled under heaven and earth. The successor of the spirit sword with the greatest potential in the entire sect, everyone wants her, but she was rejected. That bastard from Vo Kuk sect must be crazy. These people are really hard to understand. Whether accepting or not, Lang Nuoc Tuyet was still criticized. She did not give up, and earnestly persuaded Diep Duong sect leader I am at Spirit Realm level 9, meeting the sect's conditions. All my junior sisters have surpassed Martial Realm level 6. I hope the sect leader will reconsider. After hearing this, Diep Duong's mind was confused, and he quickly tried to refuse, politely clearing his throat. No mistake. Your conditions all fit perfectly. But unfortunately, our sect has already recruited enough people this year. Come early next year. Just as he finished speaking, people around exposed this lie. Who do you think you are pretending to be cool? Isn't this year just starting? Isn't your sect just you alone? Seeing the situation was not good, Diep Duong hurriedly turned and vanished quickly. No need to explain to NPCs, I won't compete on the stage like you guys anymore, goodbye, sisters. Lang Nuoc Tuyet hurried to stop him, but in the blink of an eye, he was gone. Everyone witnessing this scene was astonished. Meanwhile, Diep Duong was hiding in a nearby alley. He breathed a sigh of relief, finally escaped two troubles indeed. But it seemed he had underestimated Lang Nuoc Tuye's persistence. Even though Junior Sister suggested finding another sect to rely on, she still firmly believed in Vo Kuk sect and its sect leader. The sect leader is a transcendent master. Surely he won't easily agree with us. He must be testing us. We will pass the test. After the Eternal Sword sect was destroyed, these sisters have yet to face any hardship. On the way, despite encountering countless villains, Lang Nuoc Tuyet firmly held her sword and swept them all away, protecting the Junior Sisters safely no matter what. She absolutely would not bow her head. With the determination of the Senior Sister and the united shout of the sisters past the test joined Vo Kuk sect. Seeing the situation was bad, Diep Duong hurriedly fled back to the sect. After a while of flying, Diep Duong finally returned to Vo Kuk sect, finally home, exhausting to death. What kind of sect is this that is built in such a deep place? But upon seeing the sect's torn gate, he couldn't help but smash it. Every time returning to the sect, the biggest headache was opening the gate, which was big and heavy. Normal strength couldn't push it open. Last time he used a level 100 beginner technique, go with the flow, to push the door and cracked it, causing the old man to scold him nearly to death. Now returning to the sect, he could only climb the wall like a thief. After climbing over the wall, a scene like a fairyland suddenly appeared. It was unexpected that a declining sect like Vo Kuk sect was so vast. However, being alone made Diep Duong feel a bit lonely. While strolling on the street, he suddenly heard a loud noise echoing everywhere. She's starting her tricks again, need to handle it a bit. Saying that Diep Duong went straight to the prison hall. Seeing him open the door roughly, the ghost guard outside immediately warned the others, "Today is fierce, everyone be careful, so irritable. Looks like today the disciples won't be spoiled again." It seemed it was too used to this side of Diep Duong. Going deeper into the deepest prison where countless talismans were pasted on the bars, Diep Duong finally spoke. "Save some strength, crying won't charm anyone here. I'm the only person here." The serious criminal inside the prison was living well and still causing trouble. From inside the cell, a weak voice sounded, I don't want to eat. Just want to go outside for a walk. Being locked up here is too boring." Inside, they were imprisoning a super cute little fox spirit. Seeing the fox spirit cry, Diep Duong showed no sympathy at all. "If you're bored, think about how many people you've harmed. That's why the little fox was imprisoned here, crying and begging people to be obedient and repentant, but now you can't even support yourself, so you might as well let me go." Diep Duong did not hesitate to refuse. "I promised the old man absolutely not to let her escape. Don't keep thinking about breaking out. It's stormy outside. Free snacks, aren't they delicious?" While speaking, he tried the food placed outside the cell. The little fox now approached, continuously tempting him to be gentler than the snacks. "As long as you let me out, I'll marry you." "Where's the FBI frog? There's a case to report," but Diep Duong is an honest person. Of course he refused. "Do you think I'm a fool, little fox? I'm not that easy to deceive." Hearing this, the little fox still didn't give up. "Big fool, I'm sincere about running away together. We will have many children. I have already thought of a name for the boss. Or you let me out for 3 years, then I can make you a top master." Hearing these words, Diep Duong suddenly raised his voice to stop her tricks. "Nine-Tails Demon Queen once destroyed a dynasty. Don't even think about causing trouble in the human world again. You just stay honestly here and let me go for a lifetime." After speaking, Diep Duong stood up with cold eyes and left. At this moment, the little fox revealed her true form as a seductive girl. "Foolish humans, the old man saved you once and now you want to bind yourself for a lifetime." Diep Duong immediately refuted this. "You are wrong. I agree to inherit this sect. Not just because he saved me, but because I respect his way. He devoted his whole life determined to revive this sect. I agree with his courage and perseverance." Diep Duong came to this world empty-handed and decided to inherit the old man's legacy to make this sect stand tall once again. Once again, the persuasion failed. The little fox reverted to her original appearance, pouting. "Humph, pretending to be cool with me, you won't let me go, right? If you don't let me out, I can get out myself, and then you'll surely die." Time passed like that. The next morning, the sun was already high when Diep Duong finally got up, but as soon as he opened his eyes, he immediately rolled back into bed to continue sleeping. After all, there was nothing to do in the sect. At that moment, a voice rang outside the window. "With your appearance, what can the infinite sect do to revive the infinite sect will sooner or later be ruined by you." Such a voice came from a strange bird. With a scarf around its neck, this sect is getting weirder and weirder. After being scolded, Diep Duong sat up with a dissatisfied tone. "If I don't oversleep, can I wake up? Besides, you're just a bird I picked up on the road with an unclear background. Stop meddling." Hearing this, the bird sulked immediately. "Fine, from now on, I won't manage the books of this broken sect anymore. The sect's rules and regulations you handle yourself. Today I officially resign as the sect's steward." Diep Duong was so scared by the bird's fierceness that he had to clasp his hands and beg, "You're wrong. Wrong, but the undefeated divine bird knows everything. At this moment, the bird reminded Diep Duong of the promise, "Knowing you're wrong is good. Remember, we have a transactional relationship. I help you manage affairs for 3 years. You help me fulfill a wish. Then get up and meet the guests." Hearing about guests, Diep Duong was startled. This sect hasn't even seen a ghost, and now there are guests. Before flying away, the bird said that outside the mountain, a group of beauties were crying out to join the sect. Hearing this, Diep Duong already knew who they were. Not wanting trouble, he tried to avoid it. "But my eyelids are too heavy, I can't hold on anymore." "No way to meet guests." The bird was puzzled. "Aren't you always looking for suitable disciples?" The girls were brought right to the door, but he didn't want to see them, which was suspicious. But Diep Duong simply didn't want to listen anymore. Covered his ears and lay down on the bed, thinking if he ignored them, they'd leave on their own right. Definitely. But he had underestimated these sisters. Outside the sect, Lang Nuoc Tuyet was determined not to leave without meeting the sect leader. From morning till night, Lang Nuoc Tuyet led her sisters, kneeling before the sect gate, continuously shouting, "Sect leader, please come out and meet us." Diep Duong sat inside, already heard but made no move. After a day, the junior sister began to persuade Lang Nuoc Tuyet, "Senior sister, you've been kneeling all day. If the sect leader doesn't come out to meet us, does that mean he doesn't want to accept us?" Lang Nuoc Tuyet immediately encouraged her junior sister, saying the sect master is a transcendent master who takes disciples from beyond the world. There will definitely be countless trials, and we must keep our minds steadfast without wavering. Hearing this, Diep Duong was left speechless, thinking, "Oh my God, surely they don't want to kneel for their whole lives. Whatever, go back to sleep." After finishing the snacks, you decisively left. At night, it rained like a drizzle. A bird perched outside the window reminded Diep Duong, who, despite some hesitation, still maintained his decision. They are all martial artists. A little rain won't make them catch a cold, don't worry. In his mind, he was trying to think of a way to make these junior sisters realize how difficult it is and leave. After a stormy night, Lang Nuoc Tuyet's junior sisters still refused to leave even a step. Although the junior sisters were shivering from the cold, Lang Nuoc Tuyet kept her determined gaze. One girl believed that as long as they persisted, the sect master would accept them as disciples. Witnessing this scene, Diep Duong just sighed and turned to leave. 2 stars still haven't left. Forget it, if you don't see peace of mind, just slowly endure the hardship. At that moment, he suddenly noticed a murderous aura filling the sky, advancing. Lang Nuoc Tuyet also sensed it. So he spoke up, saying the sect is already broken and there are still many issues. "I won't bother going in anymore. Junior sisters, let's go." This sudden decision shocked the junior sisters greatly. After all, the senior sister in their impression was not someone who would give up so easily. At that moment, from afar appeared a swordsman wielding twin swords, radiating murderous aura, saying, "Finally found you." Upon seeing this person, the junior sisters suddenly screamed in fear, "He's chasing after us. What should we do? This devil won't let us go." At this time, Lang Nuoc Tuyet drew her sword and stepped forward. What must come has finally come. "Let me deal with him." The mysterious swordsman slowly approached with a terrifying smile. "The cursed breed of the Eternal Sword Sect, so you have joined the Infinity Sect. This broken sect, yet you're not afraid I'll annihilate it," Lang Nuoc Tuyet replied with a loud voice. "Moreover, the Infinity Sect doesn't accept us. The 9 Darkness Sword Army, you killed innocent people back then. You blinded my left eye, old master. Now, taking advantage of the Sword Sect's trouble to seek revenge, I'll settle with you. Let's change the location, don't fight in the Infinity Sect's territory." The 9 Darkness Sword Army paid no attention to these words. "Naive, you won't get away. Hand over your left eyes to me. My blade is quick and won't hurt you too much." Lang Nuoc Tuyet saw there was no avoiding it. They had to fight here. Without hesitation, she charged forward with a preemptive strike. "Back then, the old master left you one eye to continue harming the world. Now let me finish it with one strike. And take this right eye as well." Her sword strike was strong, but the 9 Darkness Sword Army easily avoided it. "Strong, worthy of the Sword Maiden, but you're only at the spirit realm while I'm a high-level soul realm expert. You should know that." But Lang Nuoc Tuyet still refused to give up, continuing to launch the next sword strike. Who would win or lose was still unknown. The 9 Darkness Sword Army jumped into the air to dodge, but was immediately chased by Lang Nuoc Tuyet, who kept slashing relentlessly. The other junior sisters could only silently cheer. They knew well that with their little cultivation, rushing in would not only be useless, but also get in the way. At first glance, Lang Nuoc Tuyet seemed to be dominating. But in fact, the 9 Darkness Sword Army blocked all her strikes easily, even dodging her ultimate move effortlessly. "Not bad, you're better than I thought. Must be careful, now it's my turn." No longer dodging, the 9 Darkness Sword Army decided to strike. In the blink of an eye, he teleported behind Lang Nuoc Tuyet. although she reacted. He appeared behind her again and slashed at her shoulder. Despite the severe injury, Lang Nuoc Tuye gritted her teeth and endured, refusing to surrender or die. Seeing this, the junior sisters all charged forward, but suddenly Lang Nuoc Tuye shouted loudly, "Don't come here. What did I tell you before? When facing this person, I will go first to hold him off. You all run immediately. Why are you still standing there? Hurry up and get lost. Don't underestimate this senior sister. I have my own arrangements. Don't get in my way." The Nine Darkness Sword Army, standing nearby, spoke, still struggling. "Your genius cultivation is too shallow. Give yourself one more year. Maybe you can change something." But now, absolutely not at this moment, the light on Lang Nuoc Tuyet suddenly gathered on the sword, not necessarily just seeing this move. The junior disciples realized the senior sister was determined to risk her life, so they shouted loudly to stop her. "Could it be that move, senior sister? Don't, or you will die." But everything was already too late. Lang Nuoc Tuye desperately launched the final move, the Eternal Sword of No Heaven. No Earth, a sword-shaped figure suddenly appeared and rushed straight toward Ku, the Dark Sword Army. Wherever the sword passed, everything was instantly destroyed after the light passed. Lang Nuoc Tuyet's sword shattered and was no longer in shape. Her body also suffered severe anaphylactic shock injuries. Only now could Lang Nuoc Tuyet rest assured and collapse success achieved. Seeing this, the junior disciples rushed forward hurriedly to support the senior sister to treat her wounds, but things were not so simple. The voice of the Dark Sword Army suddenly rang out, "Ha ha ha, unexpected Lang Nuoc Tuyet. You actually managed to transcend the realm and perform the Eternal First Sword. But you originally could not perform it. Unfortunately, it was only an appearance. You forced yourself too much." Lang Nuoc Tuyet, her whole body full of wounds, gritted her teeth unwillingly. Now she could no longer move. Could it be that she would just stand still and accept death like this? At this moment, the Dark Sword Army landed, radiating killing intent. "To prevent future disasters, I have changed my mind. I not only want your left eyes, but want all of you dead. The game begins." Seeing the situation was not good, Lang Nuoc Tuyet immediately pushed the junior disciples away and alone. She rushed forward to block the blow, but with her battered body, what could she do? The junior disciples then drew their swords and stood to protect the senior sister. Senior sister Lang Nuoc Tuyet could not let the junior disciples sacrifice themselves for her. She used all her remaining strength to charge forward, bravely confronting the opponent. "Senior sister, it's not yet your turn. Junior disciples, protect her and get out." This expression further excited the Dark Sword Army. "No one in this world has ever caught my sword barehanded. It seems you are crazy. Both your body and hands will be cut off by me," just when it seemed everything was over. But Lang Nuoc Tuyet was suddenly pulled back from behind, luckily avoiding this sword. The one who acted was none other than Diep Duong. Upon seeing him, the junior disciples shouted in unison, "Sect leader, sir, the Dark Sword Army was extremely resentful that their good plan was ruined. A ruined sect leader dares to meddle. It seems you are tired of living." Diep Duong now spoke arrogantly like this. "I like it very much, but hey, you are the one tired of living." The Dark Sword Army, fearless, swung his sword and charged forward. "I will kill you along with them. You don't know your limits. Meddling in others' business, disappear." At this moment, Diep Duong didn't bother to move, raising his hand forward. Seeing this, the Dark Sword Army laughed loudly. "Ha ha ha, another fool catching my sword with one hand." But he was mistaken. Diep Duong didn't even need to use his whole hand. "You're wrong. To deal with you, 2 fingers are enough." Just lightly pinching the Dark Sword Army's sword, it shattered into many pieces. Witnessing this scene, he not only didn't feel fear, but crazily shouted, "This is my strongest sword, go to hell!" Truly foolish. Diep Duong raised his hand. A shattered sword of Lang Nuoc Tuyet flew into his hand. He casually swung the sword, activating the primary martial skill, Draw Blade and Cut Water Level Max. With just this one sword, the Dark Sword Army was split in two, turned into minced meat, falling to the ground. After dealing with the trouble, Diep Duong gently placed Lang Nuoc Tuyet on the ground and coldly turned to leave. Although surrounded by junior disciples, Lang Nuoc Tuyet's gaze was only on this powerful man. So it turns out there really are people in this world who have mastered both law and swordsmanship to the extreme. Taking advantage of this rare opportunity, Lang Nuoc Tuyet hurriedly knelt down with the junior disciples, begging, "Thank you, sect leader, sir, for saving us. Please accept us. We will definitely be dedicated and make Infinity Sect glorious again. Please, sect leader, accept us." Finally, Diep Duong softened. "If your will is so firm, considering the situation of our sect, I understand a little. Then I will give you a chance to be disciples for a 3-day trial. If you fail the trial, you cannot stay here." Hearing this, Lang Nuoc Tuyet's eyes were full of hope. On behalf of the junior disciples, she boldly declared, "Thank you, sect leader, sir. We will definitely perform well." Determined to stay after wandering for a long time, finally having a resting place, the junior sisters showed extreme joy. At this moment, Diep Duong called Lang Nuoc Tuyet close to him. Although Lang Nuoc Tuyet didn't know what was going on, she obediently stepped forward to Diep Duong, then raised her hand to activate the basic Woodmaster skill, a small-level healing technique. In an instant, all the wounds on Lang Nuoc Tuyet's body were healed. The other junior sisters were astonished, mouths agape. Amazed sect leader. What kind of trick is this? Senior sister was seriously injured like that, and now she's already healed. Is the sect leader a divine healer? Especially there was one person who paid great attention to this point. The one who was healed, Lang Nuoc Tuyet, was even more amazed. She didn't expect that even the old wound on her wrist was healed, not even Diep Duong. The person using the skill also widened their eyes in surprise. Oh my, even a small healing technique is so exaggerated. All skills are max level, that's just perverted. The enemy was speechless about this situation. With the wounds healed, Lang Nuoc Tuyet quickly knelt down to thank Master Diep Duong. Diep Duong, not wanting to lose face quickly, put on a dignified demeanor. Get up quickly, come with me back to the sect. Finally, having a sect to rely on, the group of junior sisters smiled brightly with joy. It had been a long time since they had been this happy. Standing before the huge giant door of the Vokuk sect, the whole group was stunned, mouths agape. Wow, such a big main gate. How do we open this? Because he was accompanying disciples, Diep Duong couldn't climb the wall as before, so he opened the door with one hand and stepped inside. As soon as they passed through the door, everyone was amazed by the scene. They couldn't believe that a declining sect like Vokuk Tong could be so magnificent. Early the next morning, Diep Duong was sleeping when a small bird woke him up to climb onto the roof. Why wake me up so early? The small bird perched beside Diep Duong and said, "Let me show you how hard these young ladies have been trying. Only a heartless person would want to drive them away. Look, Lang Nuoc Tuyet has been there training all night now. She seems to have fallen asleep. This girl is really as obsessed with swordsmanship as rumored, but being so immersed in the sword path, could she lose interest in men? This bird is really too nosy." Then Diep Duong asked about the other disciples. The small bird pointed to the others and asked if Diep Duong remembered their names. Since he didn't care much, Diep Duong didn't remember all, only a few. The more unusual and deeply impressive ones were the tall Tuthu who did heavy work in the group of foolish cultivators. O Duong Loi Loi, who claimed to be the only true fan who sincerely loved Lang Nuoc Tuyet. The little cook, Nandu, Mak Han Ni, afraid of men, the tomboy Hung Tiu Hai, who liked cosplay, Lok Than, a strange young lady. Those were all the people Diep Duong remembered by name. After observing for a while, Diep Duong suddenly stood up and made a decision. Start quietly clearing out the sect, observing them to find their weaknesses, then drive them away. The small bird was puzzled and asked, "Why are you in such a hurry to drive them away? What happened?" Diep Duong said nothing after hearing this. He continued observing to find faults. At this time in Thuong Lak Hall, 3 junior sisters were sewing and chatting. "Do you think the sect leader is trustworthy? Could he be somewhere spying on us? Men are such unsettling creatures." Diep Duong, standing nearby eavesdropping, felt uneasy. "I am your sect leader, openly supervising you, not some man secretly spying." At this moment, he suddenly noticed Tuthu chopping wood. This foolish girl, young and weak, didn't use any vital energy. Perhaps her weakness was the breakthrough point. Meanwhile, another group of junior sisters was cleaning each room in this vast sect. Because no one was around, dust was everywhere, making cleaning difficult. Mak Han Ni mumbled while wiping the floor. "I feel like this sect isn't very decent." It seemed untrustworthy. While speaking ill, she accidentally triggered a mechanism on the floor and fell into a deep, bottomless pit, screaming loudly. Diep Duong hurried over, piercing through countless walls. Fortunately, he arrived in time and successfully caught Mak Han Noi landing safely. "It's okay now." "Don't be afraid, Mak Kwa Nuong." Mak Han Noi trembled all over, but still stubbornly said, I'm not scared. Besides, my name is Mak Kwa Nuong. I'm Muk Han Ni. The old teacher said men are evil creatures, and it's really true. Sect leader, please immediately let me go. Don't take advantage of me when I'm in danger. But Diep Duong had already let go long ago. The person clinging it to you is Mak Han Noi, right? The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. Diep Duong blushed and comforted her. Don't be afraid, we're safe now. It took a while for Mak Han Ni to let go and observe the surroundings. She then asked about the way out of here. Diep Duong seriously replied, "This place is used to tie the feet of intruders. The formation here can suppress spiritual senses and flight magic. Flying techniques cannot be used." "Forget it, let's wait for reinforcements." Upon hearing that, Mak Han Ni immediately covered her chest and shouted loudly, It's just the two of us, a man and a woman, waiting for reinforcements here, sect leader. You wouldn't take advantage of the situation, would you?" Truly speechless with this girl, Diep Duong was somewhat used to it by now, so he didn't bother explaining to avoid exhaustion. At that moment, a rat appeared by the wall, causing Mak Han Ni to panic and cling tightly to Diep Duong's sect leader. "How could you take advantage of the situation like that? I'm just a disciple, not a slave of the sect leader. Don't be so unreasonable. All talk and no action, Diep Duong had to say repeatedly before the girl calmed down. But somehow, she still acted sulky. Diep Duong couldn't stand it anymore and told her to follow him to find the way out, but she insisted on escaping on her own. Now she wanted to stay put and didn't want him to be alone here waiting for reinforcements. Being with a man in the dark was too dangerous. Diep Duong didn't bother persuading her anymore and just walked straight to the path ahead, but somehow, as soon as a breeze blew, Mak Han Nai jumped on him again. "You can't take it anymore," Diep Duong shouted irritably. "Get down! It's just the wind! What are you afraid of today? You've already clung to me 3 times and squeezed me to death." This time, Mak Han Ni acted sulky again. "Anyway, I won't follow you. I'll firmly wait here for reinforcements." She was so confident, but just being alone. She was so scared that she ran after Diep Duong in a panic. "Hoo-hoo, wait for me, sect leader." This girl was truly bizarre to the extreme. On the way, she kept holding on to Diep Duong's shirt and wouldn't let go. Previously, the master said that between a man and a woman, there should be a proper distance maintained to avoid triggering some unwanted reactions. Diep Duong was so angry he was speechless. He didn't understand how a master could have taught such a silly disciple. Is there any master who would teach such a silly disciple? After walking for a while, the two arrived at a large room filled with stone pillars. Upon entering, Mak Han Nai exclaimed in amazement, "Wow, so many stone pillars, jumping over them is exhausting." Diep Duong showed a serious expression. "This is not the key point. The key point is the Kong Min Tungo formation." Hearing this, Mak Han Ti was curious. Is that the super twisted Kong Min formation? Legend says there are tens of thousands of pillars. If you step wrong on one, the entire formation collapses in an instant. Seeing that the girl had some knowledge, Diep Duong was a bit surprised. Mak Han Ni explained, "I'm someone who loves formations. I've seen pigs run before trying to get through them. You have to jump countless times, and each jump resets the formation's eye. You have to recalculate from the start the only safe landing spot. This formation is originally impassable." Before she finished, Diep Duong stepped closer to some pillars. Seeing this, Mak Han Ni asked what he wanted to do. Diep Duong said he stood too long and his legs were numb. Then he wanted to try jumping a little. Hearing this, Mak Han Nai hurriedly advised, "Sect leader, don't be reckless. One wrong step and you'll die. Let's wait for the senior sisters to come and rescue us." But Diep Duong didn't care and stepped closer to the formation. "You just wait here, I'm going over there." At that moment, Mak Han Ni clung to him. "Let's go." "I'm ready. Let's start. After all, I'm a disciple under the sect leader. I swear to advance and retreat together with you." Diep Duong could only sigh. "Your courage is too small, and besides, you're holding on too tightly." Saying that, he decisively jumped onto the middle of the many stone pillars, heading straight for one and landed. After a while, nothing happened. Mak Han Nai asked in surprise, "What does that mean?" "How could it be? You actually stepped on the only safe spot." Of course, this was obvious. If the sect leader doesn't know his own trap, what kind of leader is he? Then Diep Duong said he wanted to speed up, which made Mak Han Nui panic. "Don't. Each jump must find a new safe spot more than 1,000 times, no rushing." But before her scream ended, Diep Duong had successfully jumped across all the stone pillars and reached the other side safely. Facing many questions from Mak Han Ni, Diep Duong explained that he had calculated everything already. Before jumping, he had already calculated all the subsequent variations. For ordinary people, this would indeed be delusional thousands and thousands of times over. But with the pile of passive skills on him, Diep Duong could calculate it even with his eyes closed. Upon reaching the next door, Diep Duong told Mak Han Ni to let go so he could conveniently act. After staring at the strange door for a long time, Mak Han Ni seemed to realize something. At this moment, Diep Duong just said the name Dragon Torture Maze, and Mak Han Nai immediately described its characteristics: a level of zombie demon formation that requires pressing the protruding stones on the door 18,386 times to solve. The wrong door stones would be locked forever in the history of formations. Only 3 people had ever succeeded in passing this. Diep Duong was no longer surprised. Instead, he walked straight forward, preparing to solve this formation immediately. Seeing this, Mak Han Nai hurriedly stopped him, saying not to act rashly, as this was a large-scale formation of difficult zombie level. If they tried recklessly and the door locked permanently, the entire space would be sealed off and then they would be doomed. It seemed that after the recent display, she still had not realized the true strength of this sect leader. Diep Duong didn't care much and sighed, then took a stance ready to act. Seeing this, Mak Han Nai wondered, "Wait, have you already calculated it?" Diep Duong replied, "No calculation, it's simple, but pressing those stones over 10,000 times would tire you out. I won't solve this formation." Hearing this, Mak Han Ni looked disappointed. "You originally couldn't solve it right. This formation seems only a great genius from ancient times could solve it." at that moment. Diep Duong swung his fist straight toward the door. Besides using brains, there was another method to break the formation. Meanwhile, Lang Nuoc Tuye was on the other side of the door, preparing to dig through the mountain wall to rescue people. They were determined that even if they had to dig through the Infinity Sect, they must save them. Suddenly, the rock wall shook violently. A large hole appeared for unknown reasons. Inside the large hole, Diep Duong's imposing figure appeared through the thick smoke and dust. Behind him was a terrified Han Ni. This method of breaking the formation, this man was just too terrifying. Seeing the sect leader appear, Lang Nuoc Tuye's group was also shocked and speechless. The sect leader's strength was far more terrifying than they had imagined many times over. From this moment on, Lang Nuoc Tuyet vowed to follow the sect leader for a lifetime. The next day, in the western city area of Tuhai City, Diep Duong was holding a pile of books while mumbling. This world has no animated games. Luckily, there are novels to read. Unexpectedly, that naive teenager from the introduction is not bad. Right today is the second day of their probation. Books borrowed? Need to quickly return to settle affairs at the sect. At this time, a group of thugs noticed him and prepared to make a move. Diep Duong was engrossed in reading the novel in his hands, so he carelessly bumped into a thug. "Hey, where are you going? Don't look where you're going and bumped into us." Seeing the tall thugs in front of him, Diep Duong didn't even bother to look at them, but to avoid trouble, he bent down to pick up the book and apologized to them. Of course, the thugs didn't let it go so easily. One of them stepped on the book and said, "Little brat, you bumped into our brother who's seriously injured. He's badly hurt. An apology won't solve this." This excuse was really absurd. The guy just now even clutched his stomach, groaning in pain. Those around could only sigh. These two little brothers are really pitiful, and these thugs are just here to scam money. They often roamed around the library looking for scholars to attack. Back to Diep Duong, he coldly asked the thugs, "So you thugs don't know you bumped into a steel plate?" Then they continued to threaten, "So hand over all the money on you. Consider this matter settled." Diep Duong's face darkened as he asked again, "What if I don't hand it over?" Seeing him about to resist, the onlookers thought he was about to be finished. Although they wanted to help, the four thugs were all mid-level martial arts experts. No one here could fight them, and there were no city patrol soldiers nearby. So the thugs acted even more arrogantly. They began to show their power punching and breaking a wooden board with a palm strike that had a 10-meter range to intimidate. This scene made the old man watching tremble with fear. Damn, that's really powerful. After being threatened, Diep Duong immediately said that he already knew these things. Upon hearing this, the thugs burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha, is this kid stupid or what?" Even now, he still dares to be stubborn. At that moment, he realized that the sword at his waist had disappeared without him noticing. After looking around, he finally recognized the sword was in Diep Duong's hand. "Don't lie to us, you really do know how to read." With just a little force, the sharp sword was broken into many small pieces. The thugs were stunned speechless, but it didn't stop there. Diep Duong continued to demonstrate his boxing skills. "I know this one too. Watch carefully." With just one punch, a tall wall was knocked down in an instant, frightening the thugs and leaving the witnesses unable to believe their eyes, thinking the person in front of them was a deity descended to the mortal world. After showing his strength, Diep Duong turned to rob the thugs back. "So now hand over all the valuables on you to me, only then will I let this matter go." The thugs were so scared that they fled in chaos. Of course, Diep Duong couldn't let them off so easily. But just as he was about to chase after them, one of his shoes slipped off, and he almost fell flat on his face. To save face, Diep Duong picked up the shoe and used a secret move he learned from some Vietnamese mothers. The seemingly harmless shoe actually carried a surprisingly large amount of damage. It bounced between four thugs, knocking each one down in a flash. Especially the last thug who got hit right in the mouth by the shoe and was knocked back to where he started right under Diep Duong's feet. "You dirtied my shoe, how will you make it up?" Terrified to the point of trembling, the thug knelt on the ground begging for mercy. "Hero, we will hand over all our valuables." Even so, Diep Duong was still not satisfied. "Then you have to take one more punch from me." Upon hearing this, the thug was so scared he fainted on the spot. Seeing this, Diep Duong shook his head in disappointment. "Useless. All right, let's see if they have anything valuable on them that can compensate for my frightened heart." While he was busy looting, a little sister who was eavesdropping went a bit too far. "I'll help little brother pick up the books to see what kind of books gave him such power." When Diep Duong discovered this, the girl had already read the titles of several adult books that he had lost. "Hero, do you usually read such improper books?" Embarrassed and not knowing where to hide his face, Diep Duong took back the books without saying a word. Running straight back to the sect, arriving at the study room, Diep Duong collapsed and slept straight from morning until evening. Only when the little bird called did he open his eyes, seeing that this guy was about to do something bad. The little bird asked what he intended to do. Diep Duong smiled cunningly. Actually, I found a loophole. Now we can let them go. This was exactly the look of a villain, and the little bird was speechless. Not bothering to persuade anymore, the two hid behind a tree, silently observing Tuthu. The little bird couldn't see any problem and wondered if she was truly so simple-minded. Straightforward personality. Diep Duong then revealed his plan. The key point is that Tuthu never uses internal energy. Perhaps her martial level hasn't reached the 6th tier. I'll take her pulse a bit. Once confirmed that she was deceiving the sect leader, everyone would be expelled immediately. This cruel tone was truly inhuman. After adjusting his appearance back to normal, Diep Duong calmly walked toward Tuthu. Tuthu, wait before continuing your work. I have something to confirm with you. Before Tuthu could react, Diep Duong grabbed her hand and prepared to take her pulse. Tuthu had never held a man's hand since childhood, so she blushed shyly. This scene was seen by the other sisters. They whispered and gossiped. With no other choice, Diep Duong had to drag Tuthu to a more secluded place to proceed. It was Tuthu's first experience with this feeling. Without resistance, her mind was full of wild thoughts. Could this be a scene from a romance novel where the sect leader domineeringly leads the young lady? What are these girls thinking about? At the secluded spot, just as Tuthu was about to ask, Diep Duong signaled her to be silent. This action made her think deeply. Is this the thing from the rumors? Don't tell me he's going to kiss me? This is too fast already. Do I want to kiss or not? No, too fast already. Tuthu struggled fiercely internally, not knowing what to do. Meanwhile, Diep Duong was taking her pulse to find out her problem. She only had an issue with condensed true energy. Once gathered, it dissipated. Her realm was still at the 6th tier with no other way. It can only be like that. Understanding the situation clearly, Diep Duong immediately let go, but Tuthu still kept thinking further. The sect leader is one of the two parties involved. Can I say a little about my feelings? Can we start with a hug? After all, I have never had physical contact with a man. The sect leader was in a hurry. People can see us as my blessing. I know staying at someone else's house inevitably requires some sacrifice. I understand that, but after all, this is my first time. Give me some time. Being a useless member of the group who eats a lot, if I entrust myself to the sect leader in exchange for a place to stay for everyone, I agree. I also have some goodwill towards the sect leader, but please guide this girl who doesn't understand the world slowly. Hearing these words, Diep Duong wanted to curse loudly. Damn it, I don't understand either. Just give instructions, damn it. But Tuthu still continued to fantasize that the sect leader might take her to the bedchamber. Can you give me a few days to prepare? At that moment, Lang Nuok Tuyet appeared behind Tuthu and said, What nonsense are you talking about? The sect leader is definitely not that kind of person. After hearing this, Tuthu still naively asked again, Didn't the sect leader say I should use my body to exchange for everyone to stay here? Why am I suddenly labeled a pervert? Diep Duong felt a bit uncomfortable, but how come even Lang Nuok Tuyet is thinking nonsense? The sect leader Tuthu doesn't understand things and is making mistakes. If you want to exchange people, I am more suitable than the enemy. Why does everyone crave Diep Duong's body so much? To prevent things from going further, you explained that you were only confirming whether Tuthu is suitable for cultivation or not. The misunderstanding was resolved. Lang Nuok Tuyet hurriedly apologized to the sect leader. Minzet knew that Tuthu had problems with her vital energy and wanted to help her. Tuthu quickly come to the sect leader. Tuthu was so naive that she asked if she needed to keep holding hands. It seems she has enjoyed this game. Diep Duong awkwardly replied, Stop it, stop it. Your problem has a chance to become an official disciple. Tomorrow prepare to welcome the entrance trial. Upon hearing this, the mood of the sisters brightened up. This was the opportunity for them to rely on Vo Cook sect and absolutely could not be missed. That night at the prison, Diep Duong stood waiting while urging Tu Ho Li. Eat quickly. The newcomer is waiting to wash dishes. Tu Ho Li ate while chatting, Just let me go. I will wash my own dishes. To be honest, do you really want to let them proceed with the entrance trial? Diep Duong calmly replied, Their cultivation level meets the standard. They can only participate in the trial. Whether they pass or not depends on their fate. Tu Ho Li was worried about Diep Duong and warned him. The entrance trial of Vo Kuk sect has not been activated for nearly 100 years. This time it suddenly started again. A great chaos might occur. You must be careful. Hearing this, Diep Duong bowed low. Don't threaten me, it's just mountain climbing. Climbing to the mountain peak means passing. It's too simple. Tu Ho Li still held her suspicion. Vo Kuk sect is an ancient sect. One mountain might not just be one mountain. I suspect something big will really happen. But with my strong strength, Diep Duong is not afraid at all. What he cared about now was for Tu Ho Li to eat quickly so he could go back to sleep. Tu Ho Li continued eating while trying to find a way to escape. That's right. How about letting me try the entrance trial a bit? I might as well become your disciple already. But no matter what plan she came up with, Diep Duong would not fall for it. Seeing Tu Ho Lee keep talking, Diep Duong refused to clean the dishes and just slipped away. After a long while alone, Tu Ho Lee realized no one was left there. At this moment, she again showed off her majestic demeanor. Humph, this prison won't swallow me. I will definitely leave this place. The next day, the entrance trial of Vo Kuk sect was held at Tu Lin San, located in the mountain range of Vo Kuk Lin Fong. It was a rather small mountain and also the back mountain of Vo Kuk sect. The trial was presided over by the steward Chim No. The sect leader stayed up late last night and couldn't get up, so you all have to climb the mountain by yourselves. Just rely on your own strength to climb to the mountain peak to earn the qualification for entry. Upon hearing that the entrance trial was just mountain climbing, the sisters were a bit surprised. Is mountain climbing really that easy? Who doesn't know how to climb a mountain? Vo Kuk sect is making us do this. The sect leader himself is a martial artist and also stayed up late. Not a bit of order at this moment. Nandu spoke up to explain it was not like that. Last night I accidentally saw the sect leader. Late at night, the sect leader was alone, carrying a lantern to the cliff. You must know this place is near the wilderness where demons roam, so the sect leader must be on a mission. Guarding the night to prevent them from invading the human world, Nuoc Tuyet also spoke up. The Night Guard is a hero protecting the human world from demon invasion. The sect leader is indeed a hidden master. 70% of this world's area has already been occupied by demons. The places called wilderness are still expanding. Fortunately, we have unknown heroes like the Night Guard protecting the human world. The Infinity Sect is located at the edge of the wilderness. We should soon consider that after this time, the sect leader's impression in everyone's heart will rise another level. Everyone shouted in unison, even if it costs our lives, we must join Infinity. Swearing to die following the sect leader, but only the little bird knows the truth. Last night, clearly he woke up at night to urinate, got lost, and mistakenly entered the cliff area. He even begged me, saying he was cold and scared, begging me to take him to Nandu, who then became a different image. Forget it, let them have their illusions. At this moment, from behind, someone suddenly spoke. Everyone wait, I also came to join the sect trial. Hearing someone call, everyone stopped and turned back. Wondering who it was, everyone was surprised and asked themselves why there was still one person. The person was dressed strangely. Diep Duong wore an oversized cloak, secretly thinking the little fox said this trial is too dangerous. I will still sneak along. It's safer. Nuoc Tuyed stood in the crowd and spoke suspiciously, making you clear and brilliant take off your cloak. Diep Duong heard that and was disappointed, sweating nervously. Suddenly clearing his throat a few times, seeing he was about to be exposed, the little bird spoke. No, she is also a girl. The sect leader is good, but she is shy and afraid when meeting people. Everyone sympathized with her. Hearing that he frowned and cursed silently, damn woman and bird, you wait, I will settle with you. Someone in the crowd teased. If this sister is shy, she won't get a boyfriend. He showed disdain. Who needs a boyfriend anyway? I said I'm still young now and temporarily not thinking about that kind of thing. Nandu looked doubtful. I see she is quite tall. He hurriedly explained, what's wrong, she is a model. Right then, the little bird on the branch urged loudly. All right, let's go quickly. Hearing the little bird urging to hurry, everyone immediately quickly went up the mountain. One of them said the mountain feels nothing except a bit tall. Nuoc Tuye stood in front to block. Don't be careless, this mountain is not normal. I will lead the way, you all follow and pay attention. Everyone behind obeyed. Then they stood before 100-meter-high cliff, each person cultivated, and then swiftly flew up the mountain. Diep Duong looked calm and quickly cultivated to fly up after them. The little bird flapped its wings high up, watching them and silently rejoicing. These young ladies have good talent and character. Diep Duong, you have found a treasure. Midway up the towering cliff led by Nuoc Tuye, followed by sisters Nandu flying, then turning back saw To Thu seem to have some problem. She deliberately slowed down to let To Thu catch up, then asked To Thu if she had something on her mind. Diep Duong behind showed a puzzled face, not knowing what the two were talking about. To Thu was sad. I'm thinking maybe I should give up this sect trial. Nandu stopped her. Don't do anything rash. The sect leader is strict but actually a good person. Diep Duong flew behind thinking, I'm not a good person, you naive girls. She was sad. My problem is I'm not suited for cultivation. Everyone has a safe place I can leave with peace of mind. Nandu said the sect leader will help her. She forced a smile. I'm thinking maybe going down the mountain to find a manual labor job to support myself will suit me better. This sect is poor. Even the sect leader is not easy. Diep Duong heard To Thu say that and was moved to tears. Finally, someone understands me. At this time, the sun began to rise, bringing sunlight to illuminate the whole mountain. Now, Diep Duong Nandu and To Thu also quickly sped up to catch up with everyone. The three flew swiftly in the air. Skillfully weaving through the rock crevices, finally Tu and Nandu rushed up to a cliff, surprising Diep Duong. Then both landed safely. Following behind was Diep Duong, the last to arrive. Diep Duong slowly followed behind. Now everyone was standing stunned before a deep abyss. Nandu walked forward. Why stop? This ravine probably won't be difficult to jump over. The younger sisters next to me said this ravine is strange. As soon as you jump, there's a strong wind only senior sister Lang can get through. Nandu scratched her head and wondered, isn't it normal for a ravine to have wind? Nuoc Tuyet stood on a high rock encouraging us to try one more time. The younger sisters all agreed in unison, senior sister, we will give it our all. Then two people focused again. They took turns jumping to the other side of the ravine, but when they reached halfway, suddenly a strange wind appeared. Earlier, both tried to maintain balance and used all their strength to jump the remaining distance witnessed by everyone, but despite their best efforts, they couldn't reach the other side of the abyss. Seeing they could no longer hold on, both quickly turned back to support Tu. Are you okay? She said the wind was bone-chilling cold, the other exclaimed. Infinity is indeed a very dangerous sect to practice. Diep Duong stood aside, looking very pensive. Is something going to happen? At this moment. Nandu confidently stepped forward, wanting to try herself. Let me go. My agility is not bad, she said. Then immediately took off swiftly upwards. Below, people panicked and shouted to stop her. Come back, don't be so hasty. The surrounding space was hazy, covered by a thin layer of mist. Only a streak of light flashed by Nandu's whole body emitted a mysterious blue glow. She tilted to one side, then dodged to the other. In the blink of an eye, she almost reached the destination, just a little more effort, and she could complete the goal. The younger sisters here kept praising Nandu. Junior sister is indeed formidable. Her agility is really good. Hopefully she will be the second person to get through. Suddenly, gravity seemed to change. Trees began to break and fall. Rocks shattered and flew up. Nandu looked around fearfully, sensing something bad was about to happen. A strong, swirling wind rose, sweeping all the trees into the air. The two girls here worriedly said, oh no, this time the wind is even stronger. The wind knocked Nandu down backwards. She lost momentum and shouted loudly, not good, help! Hearing the cries for help, everyone was restless. Running quickly to assess the situation, Diep Duong was also anxious, trying to figure something out in his mind. Lang Nuoc Tuyet quickly used her strength to rush down and catch Nandu, who was falling freely down the cliff, then landed successfully in front of everyone. She breathed a sigh of relief. It's okay now. Nandu's whole body trembled. Shivering from the cold, very uncomfortable, someone spoke up. This ravine is too dangerous. We definitely can't get through senior sister. What should we do now? Nandu comforted. Senior sister, go ahead first. Don't worry. We juniors will figure out a way, Nuoc Tuyet said. You all shut up. Don't make a fuss. I think this wind is extremely strong, she frowned. Don't tell me it's the 6th level of martial realm, not yet into the spiritual realm. It's hard to break through. Can't temporarily raise cultivation. The only thing I can do is cut through the strong wind. Tu was still hesitant. How can you cut the wind? Before she finished asking, Lang Nuoc Tuyet immediately unleashed her power, rushing into the middle of the raging wind. Only Nuoc Tuyet charged alone, hovering in the eye of the whirlwind. She told herself there was a formation here. As long as she cut through this formation, she could destroy the myriad winds, so the juniors could safely pass. Diep Duong silently praised, a genius is truly a genius. After a while, she found the crucial point. The wind's flying speed and gravity made her blue hair float elegantly, her face very serious in this intense battle. The younger sisters above were very worried for her, all calling out in unison, senior sister, are you okay? They moved forward to check the situation below in the deep area. Senior sister, please be careful. A gloomy atmosphere enveloped the space. Somewhere, a black smoke appeared, looking very frightening. A Han He panicked, oh no! This formation carries a huge amount of destructive energy. The earth began to shake, the ground continuously trembled with strong shocks. Is it an earthquake? Diep Duong was stunned. This situation is not good, it's really bad. What should we do? Before they could recover, the trees uprooted by the raging wind flew up. Rocks were also swept up, many shattered. Dangerous. The scene before them was confusing. Why did such a strong, raging wind suddenly arise? Oh, what is going on? Chimno spoke up. Lang Nuoc Tuyet caused a disaster. She was supposed to pass the trial herself, but couldn't leave you ancient void formation masters behind the furious formation. Spirit kept speaking in a hurried tone. What should we do now? Not only is she definitely going to die, the whirlwind will soon engulf this area. You all run quickly. Tu and Nandu persistently refuse. I have to go save senior sister. We can't leave senior sister behind. The little bird dodges the stones of the ancient void formation that can swallow heaven and earth and destroy space. Even if a formation master personally comes, it would be futile to escape. Hurry, don't waste your life pointlessly right now. Suddenly, a bold idea popped into Diep Duong's mind. He stepped without hesitation to the edge of the deep abyss and pretended to slip Diep Duong's hands and feet. The crow kept shouting loudly to attract attention. Oh my God, I slipped. Tethu heard the noise and immediately turned to check the situation. Seeing this, she was a bit panicked. She quickly rushed forward like flying, wanting to catch Diep Duong. Her two hands flailed forward. Tethu stretched out her hands to catch him, but this senior sister quickly grabbed my hand. Diep Duong was left dangling, letting himself fall freely down. He shouted back, "It's no good. Why can't my hands move at all?" They were numb already on this side. Lok Tan and another person also stared at the thick dust rising behind. Diep Duong plunged straight down. His body also emitted a blue light. Tethu wanted to grab, but it was too late. She could only blink and watch him fall into the abyss. She couldn't help but wonder. Why did she fall? Could it be she is an idiot? At this moment, why still rush forward? Diep Duong's whole body emitted a blue light, covering him. No one knew his true intention at this moment. He was not afraid. Plunging straight down right beside the raging whirlwind still swirling, soon Diep Duong found the center of the formation. He opened his eyes wide, staring at the target. The eye of the formation containing the whirlwind was right before his eyes. It kept swirling with no sign of calming down. Golden streaks enveloped Lang Nuoc Tuyed's body, causing her pain. She screamed. Her whole body trembled from the pain. Perhaps she could no longer endure this situation. Suddenly, another ray of light flashed. A foot flew through the eye of the formation below. A pillar of light emitted dazzling golden light spreading around, creating tiny electric sparks. The whirlwind from 1 o'clock split into 3 with much greater destructive power. Diep Duong raised his hand to his forehead, making a sign, muttering a secret incantation. His eyes became sharp and full of fighting spirit. At his fingertip formed an electric orb spreading all around. Diep Duong dashed like lightning straight into the center of the eye of the formation, then pierced down. Like a sharp arrow, Fearless shot straight down the center of the eye of the formation. Lang Nuoc Tuyed looked up involuntarily. She couldn't believe what was happening before her eyes. What are you trying to do? As soon as she finished speaking, an explosion suddenly erupted. Thick dust rose earth and stones were shattered. Everything was swept up. The eye of the formation gradually calmed down. The whirlwinds vanished in an instant. Diep Duong lay on the ground, covered in scratches, breathing heavily. The ground was shattered with fragments flying everywhere. Enough to see how destructive it was. In front of the chaotic scene, the giant rock began to show large cracks on the surface. Fragments flew around at high speed, enough to see how powerful the recent confrontation was. Lang Nuoc Tuyed turned to look at Diep Duong, who was letting himself fall freely without resistance. She loudly called Senior Sister. Nuoc Tuyed curiously asked, "You are the one who fell and just hit the eye of the formation. Was it to save me?" Diep Duong raised his hand to his face, then explained, "I slipped and fell, but accidentally stepped on the eye of the formation." "Oh my God, my face hurts so much!" Lang Nuoc Tuyed used momentum from a large rock nearby. She jumped over to Diep Duong, still puzzled. "Your impact just now was so strong, yet you could destroy the eye of the formation." He just replied casually, "Maybe because I'm too heavy. Looks like I need to lose weight." She hugged Diep Duong, then exerted strength to jump onto each stone slab. "You really are a bit heavy." We go up first. The sky now returned to a strangely clear state. The people above were very surprised when the vortex suddenly stopped. The little bird flew up to check the situation. The formation was broken. Tethu was shocked. The ancient great formation, even a formation master couldn't break it. Why say breaking is strange? Breaking. This formation is much more powerful compared to the ones in the sect. Nha Du Tung Tung's smile definitely means the will of the sect leader is protecting us, so we can turn misfortune into fortune to repay this kindness. When we get back tonight, I have to do something. At this time, Nuoc Tuyed had successfully brought Diep Duong back. Everyone was happily cheering that the senior sister had returned. Everyone kept praising the senior sister, saying she was amazing not only to break the void formation, but also to save this senior sister. Lang Nuoc Tuyed shook her head, saying it wasn't her, but this senior sister accidentally triggered the formation's eye. So the great formation was disbanded. Hearing this, they all found it hard to believe the formation's eye was so easily destroyed. I can only say a little about the situation. People didn't know anything. After the head was hit, it kept aching. Little Bird Chen said, "Now I declare this senior sister has lost the qualification to participate in the trial." The others immediately set off. Hearing this, Diep Duong was angry and thought to himself, "What is this damn bird doing?" Nuoc Tuyed was unwilling to accept the decision made by Little Bird, but this senior sister was the one who helped me. Little Bird is in charge of the trial rules. It's over now. You go your way. She turned and said, "Thank you, senior sister, for saving me. If there's a chance, I will definitely repay you. May I ask your name?" Refused. "No need, we are all wanderers meeting by chance. No need to be acquainted." "Then if fate allows, we will meet again. If not, no need to ask." Makhan Ni rested her chin, pondering, why does this tone sound more and more familiar? They slowly turned and left. "Senior sister, we should go now." Lang Nuok Tuyet and the group continued their journey. Nuok Tuyet quietly said to Diep Duong, "Senior sister, cherish everyone." Using power to teleport to the next location, Little Bird looked at him and said, "This senior sister's acting isn't bad at all." Diep Duong gently removed the cloak from his head and said, "Do you dare say you're not acting? What if we get discovered? They will misunderstand me as a pervert." Little Bird flapped its wings and flew away, misunderstanding what? "You are actually the head of a sect participating in the trial. You have broken the rules, so you must accept leaving." Diep Duong sighed in frustration. "Little Fox reminded me that something big has happened. That's why I came here. Now that the matter is resolved, I can leave." Little Bird also looked back and added that originally there would be no situation where Lang Nuok Tuyet acted too emotionally, forcibly breaking the formation out of sentiment. Of course she must suffer losses. Hearing this, he was very uncomfortable. "Stop it already. Enough, you nosy bird." The sky returned to a peaceful state. The surroundings were calm, as if nothing had happened. The wind blew the leaves gently past the towering cliffs. The group of disciples complained as they walked, saying, "This mountain is too high. Didn't expect to climb all day." Those behind Lang Nuok Tuyet sighed and wondered if senior sister Lang was a puppet or machine. She showed no sign of fatigue at all, so tired. Ao Duong Loi Loi agreed, yes, clearly senior sister led the way all the way. Meanwhile, Lang Nuok Tuyet was still focused on eliminating enemies. Her sword was sharp, cutting her opponent in half. She swung 2 intersecting slashes at the bird flying toward her. Next, Nuok Tuyet continued to cut down a giant 6-headed snake easily. Tethu was confused and said, "Isn't our trial too easy?" Nandu continued saying how Tethu looked at Nandu saying, "No, it's a trap. Except for the segment, all are within the senior sister's shooting range." Nandu reminded that the trial is especially favorable. "Isn't that good?" Immediately someone tried to hide. "Don't think randomly." Tethu said tiredly, "According to the sect leader, this is a trap." Nandu was confused what trap, but the key point is that senior sister secretly interacts with the sect leader. Diep Chan teased the sect leader of non-senior sister is about to be taken away. Loi Loi objected, "What's with non-nu senior sister? The sect leader belongs to everyone. Everyone has a chance." Tethu calmly said there's no secrecy. It was just yesterday on the road meeting the sect leader, casually chatting. Nandu interrupted, "Fine, trust senior sister once, let's go." Almost there. Finally, the group reached the cliff where the light was blocked. In front of them was thick smoke, gradually dissipating. Nuok Tuyet stopped and raised her hand to stop. She ordered to halt. Tethu also noticed something unusual about senior sister's expression and turned back to warn those behind. "Be careful, senior sister has noticed something." Loi Loi was also gripping the sword hilt, tightly pulling it out of the sheath, unlike usual. At this moment, the black bones were getting denser, obscuring their vision. Although it was still daylight, Tethu was puzzled by the strange scene. How could there be fog when it wasn't dark yet, as the black bones gradually dispersed, revealing a huge, unclear figure? Finally, a dry skeleton soldier charged through the smoke, heading straight toward Nuok Tuyet. Loi Loi was stunned and raised her sword to block in front of her chest. Her eyes widened in full alert. Nuok Tuyet frowned in discomfort and gently sliced through the dry skeleton soldier with one sword stroke in an instant. Nuok Tuyet maintained her posture without a single gasp. Tethu commented that those skeleton soldiers were just a scare tactic. Not particularly strong, Diet Chan continued, "Senior sister is too strong," but her expression remained serious and intimidating. Nuok Tuyet assumed a fighting stance and simultaneously warned. Fully prepared for battle, the first dry skeleton soldier charged out with fierce eyes, its eyes flashing deadly red light, followed by a series of dry skeleton soldiers piercing through the smoke. Swinging sharp claws, Nuok Tuyet's face darkened. She seriously reminded everyone to grip their swords tightly. Around Nuok Tuyet's group, they were all surrounded by dry skeleton soldiers. They appeared from one side. A dry skeleton soldier roared angrily. Blue flames flickered around it, and the group began to fall into chaos. "They're charging, coming. Tethu raised her sword to shield her head, determined to take the risk. However, the dry skeleton soldier only needed one slash to knock the sword from Tethu's hand. Her gaze never left the dry skeleton soldier. Tethu frowned and struggled to defend. The dry skeleton soldier charged forward, extending its sharp claws toward Tethu once again immediately after. A clean slash appeared right at the dry skeleton soldier's neck so fast it couldn't recognize that Nuak Tuyet was the one who swung the strike. She blocked in front of Tethu and coldly ordered a retreat. The smoke gradually turned blue, and more figures appeared. They twisted and continuously made faint noises. Nuak Tuyet tensed and gritted her teeth. "We can't stay here long. Charge with me, they're charging, coming. Little Bird observed the group and noticed something unusual, not right. A thought flashed through its mind. There can't be so many skeleton soldiers. This isn't the entry-level trial, it's the destruction level of the little exterminator intruder. Little Bird feared disaster and blamed Diep Duong, that bastard, for shattering the ancient Grand Formation. "Leading to the intruder destruction mechanism, this will be endless." Nuak Tuyet's group also shouted loudly quickly at this moment. Charging through, Little Bird felt guilty. "I made a big mistake. Shouldn't have chased Diep Duong away. Now it's too late to go down the mountain and ask for help. Waiting for Diep Duong to arrive, they would have died many times over. Not good." Nuak Tuyet led the way, fighting the dry skeleton soldiers while guiding those behind to escape. Hurry Deep Senior Sister on the steep mountain peak. At this moment, the dry skeleton soldiers had pushed Nuak Tuyet's group to the cliff, preventing them from retreating any further. They charged viciously, wanting to annihilate Nuak Tuyet's group. Nuak Tuyet was confused. What should she do? The people behind her were also terrified. The sea-bone skeletons are finished. Nuak Tuyet decided to sacrifice herself. "You juniors retreat behind me. The rest of the disciples pay attention, Senior Sister. Let's advance and retreat together. Everyone take the risk." The dry skeleton soldiers leapt toward Nuak Tuyet and the disciples behind. Lok Tan swung his sword, shattering the skeleton's bones. Nan Nu was no less fierce, quickly chopping off a head. A dry skeleton soldier charged at Diet Chan, who lightly swung his sword to eliminate another. However, the dry skeleton soldiers seemed endless. They kept increasing in number. Nuak Tuyet shouted loudly, "None of you are allowed to die. I will block the skeletons to help you all climb down from the cliff. Everyone must survive." Nandu worriedly said, "Senior Sister Juniors also want to stay and block the skeletons with you." Lok Tan didn't want to leave Nuak Tuyet either. "No. Senior Sister wants to come along." Han Ni quickly spoke up. "We must come along. Killing one is killing one." Nuak Tuyet's group was completely surrounded, only able to stand together and defend. Suddenly, the jade pendant on Han Ni's body emitted light. She was astonished, looking down at the jade pendant. The pendant emitted light and shook slightly before falling straight down, bouncing several times on the ground. The dry skeleton soldiers were somewhat puzzled, looking toward the nearby jade pendant. A burst of electricity erupted around the jade pendant, eventually creating a large explosion. Taking advantage of this, Nuak Tuyet's group also retreated. Nuak Tuyet cautiously looked toward the place where the explosion had just occurred. Tuthu curiously asked what was going on. Han Ni replied, "I don't know either," as the smoke gradually cleared to reveal someone's motionless figure. A sudden pressure appeared, causing the dry old soldiers to hesitate, not daring to act rashly. The disciples were also shocked and stunned. Diep Duong lay on the ground groaning. He sat up with a dazed look in his eyes. "I was sleeping soundly who brought me here," Han Ni happily exclaimed, suddenly remembering. Last night the sect leader had stuffed a jade pendant into her hand, saying to be cautious. It turned out to be a tool for transmitting people here. Nan Du and Lok Tan were so shocked they froze in place. The dry old soldiers attacked again. 4 sharp weapons simultaneously pointed straight at Diep Duong's side. Nuak Tuyet shouted worriedly, "Danger, sect leader." Diep Duong still wore his usual expression of boredom. He slowly glanced backward, then moved at an astonishing speed, leaving no afterimage. The dry old soldiers were confused by the scene before them, only seeing Diep Duong's figure disappear before their swords and spears. They tried hard to locate him. Diep Duong's voice rang out, "Immortal creatures, your biggest weakness is your slow movements." Everyone present lowered their gaze to see Diep Duong standing on a nearby rock. He smiled and said, "Well then, let's play." The dry old soldiers surged like a tidal wave toward Diep Duong's group. They aggressively charged at where Diep Duong stood. Nuak Tuyet anxiously shouted, "It's over, sect leader, be careful." However, Diep Duong remained calm, standing still without moving. Suddenly he opened his eyes wide, and at the same time a burst of power erupted from him. The power surged as Diep Duong charged straight at the dry old soldiers. They had not yet sensed the danger. In moments, the dry old soldiers before Diep Duong exploded. Nuak Tuyet's group stared in surprise at the scene around them. Diep Duong raised his hand. The joints of his fingers cracked softly as he moved them. Immediately after Diep Duong's action, another group of dry old soldiers disintegrated into dust. He used his power to control a spear flying toward him, then tightly gripped the spear. Diep Duong was curious. Looking toward the bird-headed monster wielding a sword charging at him, as well as a new type of bird-headed monster with a mouthful of sharp teeth about to reach Diep Duong. Diep Duong spun the spear, which suddenly lengthened and sliced across the head of the bird-headed monster. Diep Duong spun the spear and stood still while the dry old soldiers rushed forward. He raised the spear to the sky. It spun so fast it was dizzying. Diep Duong swung a slash toward the dry old soldiers, instantly cutting their bodies in half. Just one slash of his had caused a group of dry old soldiers to vanish. Diep Duong calmly and expressionlessly looked forward as the female disciples behind shouted, "Eliminate them." "Then the head skeleton sister is attacking here." Diep Duong suddenly snapped to attention upon hearing the loud shout. He tightly gripped the spear. Sparks of electricity crackled where he held it. Diep Duong decisively swung 2 slashes simultaneously. The 2 slashes glowed brightly. Diep Duong raised his hands forward. The 2 slashes grew larger and then rushed toward the dry old soldiers, causing the ground to shake. The dry old soldiers stood still, unmoving before Diep Duong's attack. Wherever his attack went, it swept everything clean. Ngoc Tuyet's group was amazed at the scene before them. The dry old soldiers surrounding the female disciples had all been wiped out. Nandu widened his eyes in astonishment. "With the sect leader here, I have nothing to fear anymore." Tethu shared the same sentiment, feeling rebellious against fate. However, Ngoc Tuyet's expression grew serious. "Not good, the head skeletons are increasing. They are about to launch a full assault." Everyone gave their full support to the sect leader. A large number of dry old soldiers and bird-headed monsters charged forward. Diep Duong smirked slightly as his body gradually rose toward Cao Chung. Small lights appeared on Diep Duong's fingertips as he aligned them parallel. Then a powerful beam of light appeared. Diep Duong raised both hands high. A giant orb hovered above his head, emitting a strong energy. The light from Diep Duong's power illuminated the distant fields. A man wiped his sweat, sighing in exhaustion. His eyes looked toward the light's location. "What is that? Is the sun falling?" Only to see a dazzling orb in the sky like the sun. Diep Duong was practicing the primary Woodmaster skill. His head faced the orb above, followed by the guiding holy light at level 100. The light scorched the dry old soldiers, causing them to gradually vanish. One dry old soldier screamed miserably as it was burned. Then the remaining dry old soldiers suffered the same fate. Burned to ashes, the dusty land where the dry soldiers once stood is now empty, only smoke billowing. The dry soldiers dissolve like dust. Light shines down on the ground where the dry soldiers grow fewer. The scene only has flickering sparks and fragments falling from the sky, some fragments hitting the ground and bouncing up. They shake a little before stopping completely. The group of weak Tuyet restrains people as everything around is quiet. Tethu incredulously says, "I'm not dreaming, am I? Is this really over?" The female disciples finally noisily return. The Skull Sea really exists. This mountain is too empty. The light of the sectmaster can ward off evil. So handsome Diep Duong lands on the ground on one leg. He stands near the cliff looking far away. The wind blows, making Diep Duong's clothes flutter. Weak Tuyet leads, clasping her hands. "Thank you, Sectmaster, for saving us. This trial can be considered a failure, right?" Diep Duong speaks. "You all can endure to this extent in the sudden mutation of extermination. The will and strength of the sect are recognized. Facing danger, you swear to die, protecting each other. That is the disciple I need. You coldly declare from today onward, you are people of the infinite sect. From now on, whoever wants to cause trouble, I will protect you to the end." Weak Tuyet widens her eyes in surprise at Diep Duong's words. She hurriedly kneels with the female disciples behind her, thanking Master Diep Duong. He turns and smiles. "You are very good, well done. Rest a bit, then I will lead you to depart." The female disciples are full of spirit. "Yes, Master." Diep Duong and the female disciples silently look toward the horizon. Diep Duong stands on the plateau, waiting for the little bird to fly over. The bird curiously asks, sneaking, "Why did you call me here?" He does not answer directly, but asks back, "Among these girls, how many can become my true disciples?" The little bird mocks. "Before you scolded them, now you start choosing true disciples." Diep Duong sighs and explains, "The sect is #1 in the world. It's hard to recruit even 7 true disciples. There is hope and expectation to soon return to a peaceful and free life." The little bird disdainfully says, "You now day by day. Not just living day by day, but the true trial of infinite sect is at the heavenly extermination level. Maybe only Lang Ngoc Tuyet can do it." Diep Duong continues, "There is one person that's a start. The important thing is the sect's great cause already has someone." The little bird asks, "How do you want to arrange it?" He thinks for a moment, then replies, "Based on their potential. The obedient ones wash clothes and cook. The strong ones massage. The good-bodied ones are dancers. The eloquent ones entertain me hearing this terrible idea from him. It keeps pounding in Diep Duong's head. You fool, they are here to cultivate, not your female slaves. He then proposes another idea. Taking care of the sect master is also a kind of cultivation. You are really not funny. I will train them into masters of professions like young female mages, swordswomen, yin-yang immortals. At this point, the little bird shouts to stop and wonders, wait, why are they kneeling? Suddenly, a group of disciples come bowing their heads to report, Master, finally, I have fulfilled my promise to you, leading everyone to find a place to worship a good master. We no longer have to wander and be bullied. Diep Duong ponders, very good, so next we also have the energy to prepare for revenge for Master. Hearing this, he spits blood in anger. Thu replies, Master just disappeared. Life and death are unknown. Isn't revenge a bit too serious? Also, it might just be genius Makhan Nai standing nearby adds, Master, never let us call anyone master. We have our own master by fate. Maybe you already calculated that you would be harmed by a traitor. O Duong vows to find the traitor and punish him. Diep Duong listens and is utterly speechless with these female disciples. Nha Du finally speaks up. We also have a place to live. Senior sister can sleep peacefully and have a beautiful dream. Lang Nuoc Tuye gently strokes her head. You silly girl. The next morning, the first sunlight shines into the sect's courtyard. It is also the time everyone wakes up to go to class. In front of the room, a crowd is gathered. Suddenly, someone asks, Senior sister hasn't arrived yet. Everyone whispers, she's never late before. Nha Du turns around puzzled, guessing, could it be suddenly a shadow flew over Lang Nuoc Tuyet worries and thinks, oh no, late again and that dream again, run, don't stop, don't look back, you must run out. Tayo Nuoc Tuye keeps moving forward. Absolutely do not turn back. She painfully tries to reassure herself, everything is over. I am grown up now. On the other side, Tu Thu was startled and turned around reacting to Ling Nuoc Tuyet, who was panting as she walked. Sorry I'm late, the voices of several junior disciples shouted. A junior disciple spoke up. Luckily, the master hasn't arrived yet. Nandu approached and asked curiously, Senior sister, did you have that dream again? Ling Nuoc Tuyet denied it. No, children, don't be nosy. Let's go inside. Hearing the senior sister speak, the whole group entered the classroom. They looked around, but still saw no sign of anyone feeling puzzled. That's strange, why hasn't the master arrived yet? Chim No loudly announced. You don't need to wait anymore. The sect leader has something urgent to attend to. Everyone was disappointed. The master already broke his promise on the first day. We've caused too much trouble. Chim No relayed the message that the grand meeting would be held another day. The sect leader told Ling Nuoc Tuyet to write a development plan for the sect. Tu Thu thought to herself, this sect leader is too easygoing. Ling Nuoc Tuyet accepted the task, understood. First, perhaps we should improve the sect. As for everyone's cultivation, I will make a plan. Chim No asked again before leaving. Does anyone else have any questions? Nha Du shyly asked, I was asking if the sect leader is dating some random woman or something. Chim No guessed maybe there is a woman involved. Its answer made Nandu even more embarrassed. Wrong Ling Nuoc Tuyet, do you know? She was startled, not understanding what was going on. Chim No flew up and replied, I said you can't give the sect leader pocket money. You secretly gave it to him. A man with money will become spoiled. She blushed helplessly. But I have no way to refuse any request from the sect leader. Scene changed to Rama Hall. The sound of clacking echoed repeatedly. Bak Fai muttered to herself. Thinking about it, that bastard Diep Duong went there again today. She was drawing nonsense on the wall, a little angry that a stunning beauty like her didn't even bother to ask Han if he went to that vulgar place again. Men are really just sows. Suddenly she shouted loudly, Swallow here! So boring. Diep Duong, you bastard, come back quickly and chat with me. At Tuhai City, a beautiful fertile land with a green river flowing through, dividing it into two areas. On the right was a noble castle with luxurious architecture. On the left were low houses. At a tavern located in the left area, the daily life of the working people flowed peacefully. Familiar voices greeted customers. Tamjiang Tavern welcomes you. A waiter added more wine. A bottle cap flew onto the table. Diep Duong sat with his legs crossed on the chair. Holding a bottle of wine half awake, he ordered, Boss, add 3 skewers of chicken, 5 skewers of goat meat, 1 grilled squid, 1 pipefish. Several servants found it strange. Unable to hold back, they asked, Sect leader Diep, today you dare to order so much? Suddenly have money. Behind Diep Duong, 2 girls came to eat together. They whispered and gossiped about the poor ghost guy. No money for 3 months, no eating or drinking. Has he found a rich woman or what? He overheard the conversation and hurriedly said, Tang Min Bon Ton has never relied on women. Pure as Tan Son Tuyet Lien. The girl looked clearly disappointed and a bit annoyed. Good, Diep Tuyet Lien, don't even think about borrowing money from us later. Diep Duong leaned back in his chair, shaking the bottle in his hand teasingly. Don't be serious. Friends should help each other in hard times. A little money can maintain friendship with a strong guy like me. Hung Tu Hai puffed her cheek, showing disdain. Who would be friends with a scoundrel like you? You are probably the weakest man in this tavern. Suddenly, a voice cut her off, defending Diep Duong. Fong Hao said, I am friends and sworn brother with him, stepping in fiercely with majestic presence. While I was not here, you bullied my brother. You guys are lacking discipline, right? However, Diep Duong looked at the person before him, feeling uneasy. The two young men cursed the heavens and the earth. Here they come. These guys are unlucky. Just as you thought, he is going to raid this tavern. First, Fong Hao approached Hung Tu Hai, teasing, Big sister, have you gotten fat recently? Your belt is about to break from your slim waist. She angrily hit him hard and cursed mercilessly, Go die! Don't think that just because the three of you are the city lords of Tu Hai City, you can say whatever you want. Fong Hao rubbed the spot he was hit on his head and casually commented, Women with violent tendencies are scary. Then he suddenly turned around and saw a familiar person. Triu Tach was frightened and startled when noticed. Fong Hao started approaching and chatting boastfully with senior brother Triu. 6 years of cultivation without any progress. I heard you called for help. Senior brother, then I am. Huyn had long given up cultivation and returned home to farm. Triu Tach felt a chill in his head, a tangled mess. Fong Hao said a decisive sentence that struck straight into his heart. Huyn had long given up cultivation and returned home to farm. Speaking of this, Triu Tach was stunned and fearful. Fong Hao changed his gaze to the woman beside him. Auntie is still alone. Could it be that she really wants to be lonely until old age? Turning back and forth, he finally returned to Diep Duong's place. Fong Hao generously said, Brother, the old rules apply, the money is on me. Unfortunately, the bookworm didn't come today. He shyly refused, How can that be, thank you? Hung Tu Hai angrily grabbed the eating knife and turned around to see this scene. Her hand holding the knife trembled, wanting to throw it away. But her reason held her back. It's not fair. Why has no one ever picked a fight with him before? Fong Hao smirked and replied to her, What do you know? Diep Big Brother and I are on the same path. We are all loyal fans of Diem Nuong, he said then. Fong Hao leaned close to Diep Duong's ear and asked to prove that his words were correct. Tiongok is the gentlest and tallest, right? Diep Duong pretended to laugh softly, but cursed inside, Kids don't know anything. Of course, Diem Nuong is the most seductive and hot. Unfortunately, the bookworm likes Bang Sun big thighs and cold pung. Really no taste. Fong Hao showed regret. He turned to discuss with the shop owner, My boss, bring the money here, I'll pay. The shop owner happily replied, No problem. Then Fong Hao called for another round of Chung Chuk Diep Tan for Diep Big Brother. Diep Duong smiled happily and sat down next to him. The two began to chat. Diep Duong spoke first. People who don't know lead. My disciples work hard, I just left and they don't know anymore. Really hard, huh? Diep Big Brother Fong Hao comforted him, but just as Diep Duong picked up food with chopsticks, the chopsticks broke. He was stunned, staring at the chopsticks frozen for several seconds. His face panicked with many uneasy thoughts. Waves of anxiety stirred in his heart. A bad premonition arose which disciple had trouble. In contrast to the chaos in the tavern inside, the sect was peaceful and much quieter, with morning sunlight shining through the roof arches and tree leaves. The girls were discussing inside. Lok Tan reported, The middle northern area has a damage rate of up to 70%. Lang Nuok Tuyet added. The worst is the southern hall group, where there is a very large, deep lake. Lok Tan continued holding a pen and paper to take notes. Due to road damage, many places cannot be inspected temporarily. Nuok Tuyet continued, pointing on the map. The cost to repair the sect is very high. We divide it into 3 steps. The first step is to repair the living area first. We plan to raise the money ourselves. No one is allowed to tell the sect leader or master. The serious atmosphere was interrupted when Nan Du suddenly ran in, shouting, Senior sister, the 5 junior sisters from Nam Kung have news. She ran out of breath, her face pale and ugly. They are still alive. Hearing this, Nuok Tuyet was stunned. What Lok Tan hurriedly asked for more information. After the Eternal Sword Peak collapsed, the 5 were missing. Nahandu reported the situation while clutching her chest to catch her breath. Now they are trapped in Tien Nam Lin. That place is overrun by demons, a very dangerous wilderness. We just received their distress signal. Diet Chan asked if they wanted the sect leader or master to intervene. Then Lang Nuok Tuyed stood up resolutely and said, No need, I will go alone. That place is too dangerous. No one should sacrifice unnecessarily. You all wait here. She was extremely determined. I will go bring them back. Inside the deep remote forest, rocky mountains interspersed with lush grass and flowers, something fell from the tree. As fast as the wind, Nuok Tuyet caught it. It was a device to assist her in finding people. Lang Nuok Tuyet tried to reassure herself, Junior sisters will be fine. They definitely will be fine. She continued forward, thinking Namkung Jr. sisters must try harder. I know no matter what the situation, you will protect everyone. This also reminded her of the past years ago. Lang Nuok Tu Yet respectfully told her old master, "But teacher, I don't like the new junior sister who just arrived." The master asked why. She replied, "We are a sword sect that values offense over defense. She only wants to learn defense. What is she doing here?" The master pondered for a moment and finally gave a reason. "She only said the master is a good person." Lang Nuok Tu Yet felt confused and a bit upset. Good person. What standard is that? The master explained. Actually, the Nam Kung family is one of the 4 great families of Tunguyen Kingdom. There are many rights and choices. Nam Quan Dong hugged his dog, which fearfully buried its head in its soft fur, wriggling. Your father, General Nam Kung, sacrificed himself to protect Tunguyen Kingdom. He announced the situation. The daughter of the previous head of the Nam Kung family was always bullied and mistreated by Uncle Tom Tom. Feeling sympathetic to Nam Quan Dong's situation, all her relatives did not know about this matter, so let it be. After knowing, we absolutely cannot let the child stay at Nam Kung's house. This place, too, she is Nam Quan Dong's stepmother, the one directly causing all the trouble behind the scenes, sneering with sarcastic words. You gentlemen, really, we are not bullying her. She just has a very bad nature. She steals things from the house all day long. We punish her also to prevent her from going down the wrong path. He angrily turned back and scolded, "Shut your mouth, you still spit blood at others. She is not even given food when full. She sneaks into the kitchen to eat secretly. What's wrong with that?" She continued speaking, causing her to stiffen and harden. "Even if she goes up to get food, it's not for herself. It's for the retired disabled war dogs that follow her. They are still hungry and even think about feeding the old stray dogs. You all still dare to slander her bad nature. After you discovered these old disabled dogs, you criticized wasting food and wanted to kill them. She risked her life to protect the dogs, got severely injured by you, and only then was this matter revealed." She didn't bother arguing anymore. Furious, biting her lip with an unpleasant expression, he bent down to stroke Quan Dong's head and said, "Good child, tell me which sect do you want to go to? The uncles and aunts here are all peerless masters of various sects. Let the child choose." She hesitated fearfully. "I want to go to that senior sister's sect." Nam Quan Dong pointed at her old master, Lang Nuok Tu Yet. She was stunned. He couldn't help but curiously ask why. "Because that senior sister is a good person." Quan Dong explained the reason. "I have seen her feed Da Huang." The master smiled. "A month ago, I passed by this place. Saw these retired stray dogs pitiful, so I fed them a little. That's not considered a good person." The little girl said, "I heard you want to become a protector." "My place is the gatekeeper, taking merit and punishment as the master. You must think carefully." Quan Dong hugged her dog tightly, eyes brimming with tears. "The eldest sister is a good person and will let me become a protector." He turned to explain to her. The little girl kept saying father, but what she liked most was being a national protector. She has no way to be like her father who protects the world. But she wants to become a protector who can protect one person, which is also good. He advised that if she has chosen her, then she should accept her. "Those dogs I will arrange properly so she can take them along. Let's go together to the Eternal Sword sect of the sisters." "I understand," she replied gently. She reached out to comfort her. Quan Dong's cheeks flushed pink as she looked at her with sparkling eyes, a bit fearful and a bit dazed, while she smiled kindly like a fairy godmother at the peak of the Eternal Sword. Lang Nuok Tu Yet spoke loudly when seeing Nam Quan Dong. "What nonsense, attack is the best defense. Being a protector is meaningless." Nuok Tu Yet added harshly, "I don't like weaklings." Quan Dong timidly remained silent, not daring to argue. The two practiced on the mountain with Nuok Tu Yet's commanding guidance. She danced beautifully with the sword under everyone's watchful eyes. Nam Quan Dong struggled to hold the shield to defend. Nuok Tu Yet reminded her to anticipate the direction of her next attack. She replied softly, yes. On a clear day, not too sunny nor rainy, Nuok Tu Yet caught her crying in front of a tombstone in the forest and asked about the dog's condition. "Moi, is it dead?" Quan Dong sobbed, Da Huang is dead." She cried louder and louder sorrowfully as if her most important friend in life had left her. Nuok Tu Yet bent down to stroke Quan Dong's head, reassuring and promising, "It's okay, it's gone now. You can continue to protect me and treat me like Da Huang. Protecting me is enough." Nam Quan Dong felt wronged. The autumn wind rustled as the two practiced together, but this time only the two of them. Lang Nuok Tu Yet warned that there were many wild wolves nearby. "Be careful," Quan Dong said excitedly. "Don't worry, I will protect you." The two gradually became united in mind and heart, Nuok Tu Yet's hair fluttering in the wind, ending the old memory. Returning to reality, she received an ominous signal. A red dot appeared on the tracking device, emitted a warning sound, and gradually disappeared. She began to worry and panic. The signal is about to disappear. Lang Nuoc Tuyet hurriedly flew away. In her heart, she repeatedly prayed for peace. Nam Quan Dong Mui, absolutely no trouble. At Nam Kung Dong's place, they had just lost one person, and one of them, Tiu Roy, was panicking. The crystal information could no longer hold. The girl worried and saddened. Senior sister, they have no way to find us now. Nam Quan Dong reassured everyone, it's okay. Senior sister will definitely find us. It might take some time. The girl frowned. Senior sister Mai Lo was captured by the monster. What should we do? Why don't we go rescue her? She probably can't hold on any longer. Jun Dong changed the plan. Or should we go rescue senior sister Mai Lo? Everyone stopped him when they saw her body full of wounds. Nam Quan Jr.'s sister seemed too weak to fight. Nam Quan replied, rescuing doesn't require fighting strength. I am very agile. I will lead senior sister back alive. However, Nam Quan Dong still flew away. She carefully reminded everyone to stay here. The situation was bad, so she ran away on her own. Everyone tried to call her back junior sister, but it was impossible. Everyone was completely helpless. The girl wondered, I really didn't expect Nam Kung Jr.'s sister to be so weak. Yet she can become an outstanding disciple. Another girl agreed. Senior sister said, Muai mainly relies on willpower to compensate for her body's shortcomings. Hopefully, Nam Quan Jr.'s sister can create a miracle. Anyway, rescuing senior sister Milo from the giant stone cave is too dangerous. At the stone cave, Nam Quan Dong landed safely on a small rock. Exhausted, her breath was weary. She clumsily climbed onto a bigger rock as the cold wind blew. Only a few leaves flew by. Too high, Quan Dong sighed. Finally, she climbed on it, desperately searching and muttering, Senior Sister Milo? Where are you? She exclaimed excitedly when she found her half of the anxiety in her heart vanished. Milo sat curled up in a corner next to a pile of large stacked stones. Feeling her trembling, Quan Dong reassured her, Don't be afraid, Senior Sister. Like a breeze, she jumped down from the highest stone step to the lower one very quickly. Nam Quan Dong touched the ground where Milo was. She sighed in relief. Thank heavens the monster is not here. She gently asked, Senior Sister, are you okay? Milo hesitated. Nam Kung Jr. Sister Nam Quan Dong quickly pulled her up. Hurry, let's go now. Unexpectedly, the ground shook violently, making them unable to stand. Milo trembled more and more. Nam Quan couldn't hold both of them, and they fell to one side. The rock cracked with a harsh collision sound. What no one ever expected was a stone body gradually forming from there. Each part from head, body to arms and legs, a giant stone monster appeared. Everything became chaotic dust, flying everywhere. The monster stared at them as if wanting to burn them alive. It's over. Why now, Nam Quan Dong gritted her teeth. The stone monster picked up chunks of stone to check, then crushed the two, hiding behind a small pile of stones. Quan Dong hugged Milo tightly. She was thinking about what to do, must hold breath. Quan Dong used her body. Thinking of that scenario, she silently thought, if we are discovered, it's over. The stone monster bent down and moved aside to search. It looked around. Quan Dong also trembled silently, praying, please don't find us. Unexpectedly, before she could do anything, the monster had already found them. It raised its hand and struck the ground. Everything shattered, all became rubble. Nam Quan Dong was carrying Milo on her shoulder and quickly jumped over. The stone monster seemed to have heard the noise. It quickly looked over to examine the two girls and without hesitation dashed to the other side. The stone monster then opened its mouth and exhaled long breaths due to exhaustion. Milo said, Moy is really foolish to risk her life to save me. We can't handle the giant stone monster. Quan Dong was not worried. Moy still has a protective treasure left by Ba. The giant stone monster now swung its arm and hurried toward the two. Nam Quan Dong raised a talisman and whispered, This protective talisman has a short-term blinding effect. Hopefully it works. The stone monster saw the small object flying toward it and curiously wondered. The talisman suddenly emitted a strong light, causing it to look straight at it. The giant stone monster roared, covered its face and eyes, looking very painful. Quan Dong took advantage of this moment to quickly carry Milo and shouted, It can't see anymore now, run! The stone monster, though blinded, still violently punched the ground, causing many cracks. Quan Dong saw the danger and anxiously shouted, It's over. She didn't hesitate to spread her arms to shield Milo behind her, taking the hit from a large flying stone. Quan Dong screamed loudly, blood spurted from her mouth. Though she fell, she still tried to summon a spiritual shield. Both of them struggled greatly, her voice trembling as she used the spiritual shield to block, and they continued to retreat. The stone monster on the other side kept punching the large rocks, creating loud booming sounds. Nam Quan Dong held the shield firmly and blocked for Milo, asking, Han sister, are you okay? She replied, I'm fine. The giant stone man reached out again, grabbed an arch of rock beside him, and without hesitation hurled it forward where the two people were standing. The rock flew quickly and made a loud thud. Dust burst out thickly. The official carefully calculated that if they could just rush through this distance, then we could get out. "My Lu, senior sister, you have to endure," saying that she used her shield to block and helped Mai Lu run to the other side. From the green tree branch appeared a shadow swiftly jumping past Lang Nuoc Tuyet, who was hastily rushing through many sections of the path. She ran quickly while silently thinking, "Nam Kung, junior sister, you have to endure." Nam Quan Dong, on the other side, was also continuously trying hard, thinking in her heart that if she persevered a little longer they could leave. A small rock suddenly flew from afar toward her and Mai Lu. The rock hit the shield. It was visible that the official's shield had cracked from too many attacks. She bravely ran without rest, panting continuously. From afar came a voice calling out to the two junior sisters, startling Nam Quan Dong. 3 people ran from the exit, asking one by one, "Han, junior sister, are you okay?" She shouted, "Why is everyone here already? Weren't you told to stay in position?" A rock twice the size of 2 people was now flying quickly. The giant stone man, having used all his strength to throw it, let out a grunt. Nam Quan Dong and Mai Lu clearly sensed the danger approaching and widened their eyes. 2 senior sisters inside shouted worriedly, "Junior sister, be careful!" The official didn't hesitate to push Mai Lu toward them and instructed the senior sisters to take her away. She came to stop them, saying, then turned back with a very cold gaze. The official used all her strength to hold the shield to block the large rock which had grown to an extraordinary size. That shield was unlikely to withstand it. She teared up, comforting herself. "Nam Quan Dong, don't be afraid, you can definitely hold it." Suddenly, Diep Duong appeared from somewhere and told her to step back, surprising her. The silver-haired senior sister, who had helped Mai Lu, now shouted, "Junior sister, that big rock is rushing down fast." It slammed into the ground, shattering a few inches of Diep Duong's hand. He gently blocked it, causing the rock to crack. Nam Quan Dong witnessed this scene and was surprised. She timidly spoke, looking at him. "May I ask who you are?" Diep Duong glanced back calmly and said, "Call me master." His hand remained on the rock without moving, with a loud crack. The rock, several times larger than a person, shattered into small pieces. Nam Quan Dong marveled at the explosion before her. Even her senior sisters were surprised by the scene. At the place where they were standing now, a deep hole had formed, surrounded by dust and flying stones. Diep Duong looked at them gently and said, "That's right, Tuthu told me to come and lead you all home." The senior and junior sisters around looked at him in confusion. Tuthu and the others listened carefully as Diep Duong instructed, "You all go ahead outside and wait for me. I'll come find you later." Then he gestured toward a girl among them, then used his power. "I borrow the sword for a moment," he finished speaking. The sword left its sheath, startling the girl. The sword spun and rushed toward him, and Diep Duong quickly caught it. Immediately returned it to her, then quickly left the spot where he had stood. Diep Duong moved to a stone pillar near the nearby stone man. His face expressionless, he looked at it. Then Diep Duong calmly cleared his throat. Hearing the sound, it immediately looked toward him, growled, then exhaled a thin smoke. The stone man quickly punched hard at several rocks. Diep Duong was standing. He gently left that spot. Then, he kicked it once and fell freely behind the stone man. Seeing this, it immediately turned and aimed its fist at Diep Duong. As soon as he landed, he also used his small hand to punch back at it. The 2 fists collided, causing the ground around to crack. The ground there gradually sank. Diep Duong's hands were now radiating a strong spiritual power in the deep eyes of the monster. A few tense expressions appeared. From its fist, a crack appeared. The monster's stone arm began to break into small stones. It looked at its severed arm in pain. A few tense parts appeared from its fist, and a crack appeared. The stone monster's arm began to break into small stones. It looked at its severed arm and couldn't help but feel pain. Taking a deep breath, Diep Duong stood on the rock behind it and said, "Stone, hold on to the lost arm," trembling continuously and letting out a grunt. He continued, "Are you not determined to die yet?" After hearing Diep Duong speak, it immediately turned its head and looked with a sudden vengeful glare. The stone used its head to strike toward him. Diep Duong's eyes flashed with a crazy idea. He also used his head to block the falling rocks around, and the stone monster's body began to shake violently. The surroundings were enveloped in thick dust and smoke. Nam Quan Dong also widened his eyes in astonishment. "Look in that direction." Striking fiercely again, Diep Duong aimed his head at the big stone and used it to smash the falling debris. His expression remained cold and emotionless. The big stone gradually lost balance and began to sway. Its head quickly cracked into many uneven, large and small pieces, then suddenly exploded, sending stone fragments flying everywhere. The big stone's body also shattered into large chunks that fell down, causing a loud explosion where Diep Duong stood with dust and smoke filling the entire area. Diep Duong stood on the stone pillar looking down below, feeling regretful that this rock was too weak. A primary martial arts bell rank beginner was defeated with just one hit. He then looked toward the light and pondered for a moment, but afterward, Diep Duong left to return to the place where the sisters were. They saw everything had quieted down and discussed that the battle seemed to have ended. That person should be fine, right? I'll go check. It can't be too dangerous. You going is just throwing your life away, one of them said. Suddenly, someone shouted, "Hey, sisters, look over there!" He's back. Diep Duong gently landed and reassured them not to be afraid. The big stone had already been cut apart. "None of you are injured, right?" Nam Kwandong looked at him curiously, then stammered, "We are fine." "He's so strong, he really is our master," she said. Just then, a voice came from behind. "That's right!" The group turned around joyfully upon seeing the newcomer. Lang Nuoc Tuyet smiled gently and replied, "He is our master." They happily exclaimed, and Sister Kwandong quickly rushed to hug her. Nuoc Tuyet patted Kwandong's head to comfort her. "It's all over now. You led everyone with such perseverance for so long. Very commendable. If you hadn't, we wouldn't have met our senior sister again." Seeing everyone happily reunited, Diep Duong also felt joy. Truly a beautiful reunion, he then said, "Let's go, I'll lead you all back." Hearing this, Nuoc Tuyet was moved. She looked at him with admiration. Having a master is really good. Scene changes to the Infinite Palace, where Diep Duong is leaning on a chair, sound asleep. Below, everyone keeps watching him with evaluative eyes. The sect gathering has fallen asleep again. They just stood there listening to Diep Duong snoring when suddenly a crow flew in and pecked his head, shouting, "Enough sleeping, sitting here and falling asleep in a second. Where did you go last night, causing trouble again?" Diep Duong raised his hand to his mouth and pretended to cough a few times. "Sorry I stayed up late last night because of sect development matters." The bird looked at him with disdain. "Stop talking nonsense." Diep Duong frowned in annoyance. "I was really working, reviewing everyone's documents all night to prepare a cultivation plan for everyone." Recalling last night, he paced back and forth in his room, arranging the chi flow that couldn't condense for a long time, his personality simple and focused on peak level. Nan-nu was gentle, but lacked strength. Luke Tan was too solitary and silent, as if avoiding everyone. Duong Loa had spirit, but hated himself, staying on the ground and excessively worshipping physical contact. Lang Nuoc Tuyet neglected cultivation. Diep Duong sat leaning on the chair, evaluating each person. The whole night, a group of disciples had problems. No wonder Lang Nuoc Tuyet couldn't find them before. The sect's stop is good. Luckily, they met me. Let's see how I teach them. Ending his thoughts from yesterday, he coughed a few times, then continued, "Everyone is here now. Then let's discuss the plan to revive the sect. Very simple, you just need to do one thing to bring the sect's ranking back to #1 in the world." Nam Kwandong was surprised and exclaimed, "#1 in the world?" Diep Duong closed his eyes, thinking and speaking. "That seems a bit too rushed. Then change it to something simpler. Within half a year, 7 of you must pass the sect's disciple trial." Mong Lin Noi was somewhat scared. "How can we enter the sect's trial? They are all so abnormal." "They're all perverts like that." "Then passing the trial is probably hell level." At this moment, Lang Nuoc Tuyet also spoke. "The disciple trial is extremely important to the infinite sect." Her eyes firm and serious as she explained. "According to the sect's historical records, when 7 disciples pass the trial, the sect leader will gain a special privilege and the sect's secret will also be revealed. Obtaining the secret treasure of the sorrowful light to return to the #1 new world is considered the appearance of the thing that Nuoc Tuyet just mentioned, all of which are extremely rare secret treasures." Tu Thu, full of suspicion, said she guessed she had obtained this secret treasure. "The master will use his privilege to lead them to escape." Diep Duong heard this and began to cover up speaking nonsense. "I am a responsible man," he said generally. "The true training trial is very important to the sect." At this moment, Nuoc Tuyet suddenly felt sad and blamed herself. "I, Lang Nuoc Tuyet, am incompetent. I am willing to put in my full effort to train the true disciples." Her eyes showed confidence as she declared she would dedicate a part of her strength to the sect upon hearing her words. Duong Loi Loi also gritted his teeth and swore to follow his senior sister. He agreed that if during the true training trial he died protecting his senior sister, it would be a romantic matter in her heart. After finishing speaking, everyone shouted, "We incompetent disciples will put in our full effort to train the true disciples." Diep Duong saw everyone's determination and felt excited. "Very good, I will implement a super divine plan to specially train you female disciples to fully reform. Please look forward to it." The bird beside him seemed to judge somewhat. "I consider you as the foundation." Before thinking about how to train them, a boy slowly stepped down, speaking as he walked. I heard the sex renovation has a big gap in capital. I decided to go down the mountain to work and earn some money first. I can't let you all suffer too much. The bird dissatisfiedly shouted, "Don't change the subject," to Thu suspiciously whispered to Loi Loi and Nan Nu. He didn't do anything wrong, did he? Depending on the sect's renovation, they urgently need some money to start. Can he really earn money? Can he earn money or not? It's okay. The master's self-reliant appearance is really charming. Diep Duong calmly walked towards everyone and said, "I'm going to work. Wait for me to return to the mountain, then I'll announce. Who is the first female disciple of the super divine plan?" Everyone turned their eyes to Diep Duong and respectfully said goodbye. Scene changed to the Demon Cultivation Institute. Lang Nuoc Tuyet placed a tray of food on a table in front of the prison room where someone was inside. She asked why recently it was always someone bringing food to them. "Where is Diep Duong?" "Master went down the mountain to work." Bok Fai sighed when she heard this. Men say work is just an excuse. They definitely want to flirt. Those people are too young. Nuoc Tuyet felt a bit sad and said, "Really?" Bok Fi continued drawing on the wall. She seemed to care a lot about Diep Duong. Being hit right in the heart, Nuoc Tuyet stammered, "I am a disciple who cares about the master that kind of care." Bok Fai sighed again. "I even said I want to pass on secret techniques to you so you can easily win Diep Duong's heart, that kind of care." She suddenly exclaimed, "Really?" Then quickly adjusted her mood, clenched her teeth, and resolutely said, "I have long decided that in this life I will dedicate myself to the way of the sword." "Don't even think about mentioning that. If you use magic to enchant my master, I definitely won't forgive you." She didn't know since when. Nuoc Tuyet's hand was already holding a sword, her whole body radiating sharp energy. She warned Bok Fai, who fearfully jumped back, "What do you want to do?" Then she laughed loudly to cover her fear. "People say jokingly if they had this thing, Diep Duong, that bastard, has long been captured by me." When it was her turn, hearing Bok Fai say that she put the sword back into its sheath. "That's best," Nuoc Tuyet quickly left. Bok Fai in the prison cage couldn't help but rub her forehead and sigh tiredly. The jealousy of women is really too scary. But why do I suddenly feel like now someone is competing with me for Diep Duong? She ate while smiling wickedly, which instead made me feel more excited. Diep Duong observed the map to find the place he needed to go. Very quickly, he moved to the Leaf Demon Pavilion, looked at the house in front of him, and muttered, "Perhaps this is the place." The tavern owner said this place accepts demon extermination missions to earn money. This place uses fists. "It can make you rich, huh?" He quickly went inside. There were indeed many people inside. The tavern was very spacious, noisy, and lively. Missions were posted on the wall. Diep Duong looked at the longboard and couldn't help but exclaim, "So many missions." At this moment, a girl sitting at a nearby table spoke up. "Hello, little brother, I am the receptionist of the Demon Extermination Pavilion. If you have any questions, you can ask me." As she finished speaking, he asked, "Please directly tell me how to accept the highest-paying demon extermination mission." "Oh, brother, you are a new cultivator here for the first time, right?" Diep Duong smiled and replied, "Newcomer detected." Little Mew gently reminded him, "Sorry, the highest-paying missions are all extremely difficult high-level and very dangerous. They are not open to newcomers. You can only start with 0-level missions. The last one is that there is no threshold at all." At this moment, two people standing behind mocked him, saying that as soon as he arrived, he wanted to take on the most money-making task, truly not knowing the heavens and the earth. The most money-making tasks are all assigned to great demons. The strongest monks in Tu Hai City all had to step back 3 steps. Is this kid stupid or crazy? Diep Duong didn't care and directly told the little cat, "I'll go check it out, thanks," without being polite. Long Ka watched Diep Duong's back and said, "Newcomers who are so eager for merit and profit like this kind. The result will definitely be tragic." The little cat led him to the task board and hesitated for half a day. He was worried that these 0-level tasks were too difficult. "No need to be afraid. Just gather all your courage and take the first step. Then you'll find that low-level creatures aren't as scary as imagined." On the task board, there were 10 pairs of fangs and 20 pieces. Seeing him so dazed like that, she continued to encourage him. "Every newcomer grows little by little. Although the beginning is never easy, just be a little brave, and one day, you will also become a strong warrior on the demon-slaying board." After she finished speaking, Diep Duong finally spoke up. "The reason I'm dazed is because the reward for 0-level tasks is too little. Purely a waste of my precious time." Long Ka overheard and snorted coldly. At this moment, he spotted a level 1 task reward board, and immediately Diep Duong asked the little cat about the task reward. "Level 1 is barely acceptable. What conditions must be met to accept it?" She replied, "Complete 500 0-level tasks." He showed a disappointed expression and muttered under his breath, "The main tasks here. Basically, don't give newcomers a chance to earn money. Let's go to another place in the city to check it out." Go to the iron shop or what? Diep Duong quickly went out. Just at the door of the shop, he met an acquaintance. He exclaimed in surprise, "Brother Trio Thatch!" Seeing him, True. Thatch laughed loudly and raised his hand to greet. "Diep clan leader, what a coincidence. Finally, you've arrived at the demon-slaying guild. I've finally been waiting for you." Trio Thatch was happy, but not for long before receiving a question from Diep Duong. "Who are you?" He panicked and shouted, "Ah, we drank together. How could you forget me?" Diep Duong smiled foolishly and pointed at him. Oh, I remember now. You're the outer disciple Stone's senior brother, right?" Trio Thatch quickly stopped being angry and replied, "You really remember this? Are you planning to leave?" Diep Duong showed a tired look. Newcomers can only accept 0-level tasks. The reward is too low, so he could only leave. Trio Thatch quickly threw his arm around him and smiled slyly. "If you really lack money, I'll take you to do level 1 demon-slaying tasks. But the risk is a bit high." Hearing this, Diep Duong exclaimed, and the two of them entered the demon-slaying guild again, not knowing if his heart could withstand such exciting tasks. You can form a group to resonate the task and share the money, right? Yes. The task is to eliminate Lu Kalam, the blood kite. Suitable for newcomers without strength. I'll lead you to do it. Not interested, I want to do this one. He looked at the red-colored task on the board. Seeing this, Trio Thatch's face turned gray and he looked a bit scared. "Ah, you're really messing around. Absolutely do not do red tasks, extremely difficult. Level 1 tasks have the highest death rate and cannot be accepted." He looked confused at the reward, which was only 1 gold coin. "Level 1 tasks have too little money." Trio Thatch looked at him fearfully, but Diep Duong looked at him with a sly gaze. But in this kind of task level, I'm afraid there's no way to protect you completely. Don't worry, I'm very fast at running away." Trio Thatch sighed wearily. "All right then, remember safety first." They announced the task to search and eliminate 30 level 1 demon creatures in the village ruins. They quickly moved outside Too High City. While walking, they chatted. "Is this your first time you don't know how dangerous demons are? I have the duty to explain clearly so you can avoid trouble. Sorry to bother you, senior brother Trio. 70% of this world's space is occupied by demons, but humans absolutely will not die. Humans who have not been demonized are the resistance force of humanity." Hearing Trio Thatch's words, he sighed. "Oh, demons always want the human world to become wasteland. The remaining humans still try to reclaim lost land. Therefore, the wasteland around human settlements is constantly seized by the army or powerful demon forces. Diep clan leader, those who eliminate demons, mainly handle elimination work, which is very dangerous." They, along with a group of people from the demon-slaying guild, had arrived at a vacant lot. Trio Thatch continued to remind him to remember. "Only by following closely and not running recklessly can we avoid danger to life." Diep Duong replied calmly, "No problem as long as the monster is worth it and we don't run recklessly." "Then I won't run recklessly," he said, somewhat confused, looking at the Diep clan leader. Diep Duong smiled mysteriously and joked, "Let's go." The two of them, along with other groups, went to the Bone Remains village. The deserted village was so empty that not a single person was seen. The cold was so intense that even the sound of the wind blowing could be heard. A man shouted loudly, warning that the area was dangerous. "Not humans, right?" Monsters didn't come in. Everyone stood still, observing Diep Duong and Trio Thatch, cautiously looking around, not knowing why. "I just feel like this village is somehow not right, isn't it?" I heard quite a few people. "Monsters in this village die suddenly. This mission is very simple. If you kill 30 monsters, you can leave." Hearing that, he panicked and said to the Diep clan leader that the mission could not be taken lightly. "The difficulty level is extreme. If it were simple, it would be 0 points. Many people have already killed monsters." Trio Thatch looked blankly at Diep Duong. "The group mission is to help everyone when powerful monsters appear. Let's work together to help. Why are you taking an iron shovel? Let me see you all have weapons. I forgot to bring mine, so I just grabbed this iron shovel. It will have to do for now." Trio Thatch was so embarrassed and frustrated, thinking he really shouldn't have brought someone who didn't understand the situation to this dangerous place. Diep Duong and Trio Thatch continued deeper into the village to search for monsters. "You just calmly go ahead, Diep clan leader. You wait for me a bit. Let's hurry so we can clean up quickly." He ran ahead of him, tired, holding his waist carefully. "Better be cautious. We're in a wild area where terrifying spirit-level monsters might appear." He panted and continued explaining, "Remember, if you encounter spirit-level monsters, just run. Absolutely do not hesitate." Diep Duong calmly responded with an "oh," and thought to himself, "Spirit-level, even Lang Nuok Tuyet couldn't defeat them." At this moment, black crows began appearing on the surrounding branches. Trio Thatch suddenly looked around. "This place is wrong. We took the wrong path. Let's quickly return to the main road. If only the two of us encounter powerful monsters here, it will be disastrous." Suddenly, Diep Duong saw something nearby. "Is that the monster you mentioned?" In the dark corner appeared a 3-eyed wolf growling at them. Triotach was extremely terrified and exclaimed, "Damn!" And we encountered the most ferocious monster in this area again. He quickly stood in front of Diep Duong, pointing his sword at it, trembling as he reassured him, "Don't be afraid. The three-eyed fox is fierce, but I can handle it." Diep Duong looked confused at the trembling figure. "The scared person is you, big brother." Triotach looked at the three-eyed fox, fearfully swallowed hard, and tried to overcome his fear. He immediately charged forward. The three-eyed fox was faster than him and also lunged forward, slapping him in the chest painfully. He clicked his tongue. Suddenly, the growling of a red-eyed fox appeared. Triotach cautiously looked around. Not good, 2 more three-eyed foxes appeared cooperating in combat, which is extremely dangerous, but the leader said, "Don't be afraid, I will handle it." Only now did Diep Duong speak up, "Let me go." Triotach was confused and exclaimed. A breeze slipped through his hair, gently fluttering his hair and clothes. The hand holding the shovel began to emit small sparks. Suddenly he looked confused at the person in front of him. Long Ka wielded a blade and charged forward. "You guys came from here? Long Ka, I've taken over." The girl accompanying him looked at the two of them. "This kind of monster is annoying." They were also scared and panicked. "Too weak. Let's see how the seniors handle this." He frowned in annoyance, encountering 2 living treasures like this. The three-eyed fox growled at them. Long Ka looked fierce and attacked them. Blood splattered everywhere. The loud noise scared the nearby crows, causing them to fly away. The heads of the three-eyed foxes rolled on the ground. Long Ka confidently boasted about fighting perfectly like a textbook. Then he and the girl disdainfully said, "Isn't this little brother wanting to take on a high-level monster extermination mission?" The girl waved her hand, dissatisfied. "You overestimate yourself. A level 1 mission is dangerous. No weaklings like you can take it. Your strength is insufficient, just the 2 of you this time. Consider yourself lucky to run into us. This hellish battlefield is not suitable for rookies. Go back quickly and know your place." They mocked the 2 of them once and then left. Diep Duong looked at the 2 with dissatisfaction and displeasure. Triotach wiped the sweat off his forehead and said, "Let's go. We can't stay here any longer." "You look at me with determination. Whatever has come, we must complete the mission. Let's go." "I see you, then immediately follow." "No, this place is too dangerous. Wait for me." "Hey, no. The fog here is too thick. There must be many beasts. Let's return quickly." Diep Duong ignored him, her eyes full of killing intent, and continued walking. Triotach sighed and called out to Master Diep on the rooftop. At that moment, a red-eyed wolf appeared, growling as it looked at the 2 of them with sharp eyes. Triotach was startled by the noise and panicked. He shouted when he saw the wolf charging at him, "It's over!" It jumped at Triotach, who didn't have time to draw his sword. Suddenly, its head was severed Diep Duong with a shovel. Triotach was stunned, staring at him, speechless. His mouth stammered, wanting to say something, but was reminded by Diep, "Master Diep, don't speak." Thick smoke slowly dispersed to both sides. From within the dense fog, 2 wolves continuously growled as they stepped out. Saliva dripped everywhere from their mouths, their eyes flashing bright red, full of terrifying killing intent. The 2 wolves kept growling. Slowly advancing toward the group, Diep Duong immediately warned, "They're coming." A bright red flash appeared. Diep Duong dashed past and easily sliced off the heads of 2 wild wolves. He coldly turned and ordered, "Speed up!" Then he followed closely. "Don't be more than 3 meters away from me." Triotach was bewildered, but nodded and mumbled, "Ah-oh." He hurriedly chased Diep Duong, curious and confused. Why could he use a shovel to perform sword techniques so fast? Suddenly, Diep Duong swung his arm and lightly cut off the head of a wild wolf. Another strike cut off the head of another wild wolf. His movements were extremely fast. Wherever he went, the wolf heads flew up. Triotach couldn't help but shout in astonishment, "Mother, what kind of skill is this?" Finally, Diep Duong stopped and stabbed the blood-stained shovel into the ground. Triotach struggled to catch up behind him. It was very difficult to keep up. While running, he gasped and called, "Diep, Master Diep." Triotach had to lean his sword on the ground to barely stand. He panted and asked, "Haven't you ever killed demons before? Your swordsmanship is terrifying, not like a normal person." Diep Duong coldly replied, "Because my passive skill is sword mastery level 100. Triotach wiped sweat from his forehead, frustrated. "I don't understand a word of that." Unexpectedly, Diep Duong casually reminded him, "Let's go still too slow. Stay here, don't move or speak." He leapt and flew away, holding the shovel. Triotach stared in shock at his figure without calling his name. At the same time, sharp slicing sounds continuously echoed through the thick fog. Accompanied by loud thuds, Triotach squinted to follow the shovel's path. He groaned, "My head hurts, I can't clearly see his movements." Suddenly, Diep Duong flew out, followed by a pack of wild wolves charging loudly. Triotach panicked, eyes wide, mouth agape, hair standing on end, sweating profusely. His face slick with sweat, Diep Duong gently landed with a thud. He looked at the dense pack of wolves before him and calmly said exactly 30, no more, no less. Triotach couldn't help but scream in horror. But they're surrounding us! Diep Duong's face was dark and cold as he replied, "Enough talk." Triotach's face turned pale, his whole body trembling as he asked, "What do we do now?" Suddenly, Diep Duong reached out and patted his shoulder, startling him. Unexpectedly, he swung his arm and lightly threw Triotach far away. He was scared, staggering, and screaming, "Ah!" The wolves seized the opportunity and simultaneously jumped straight at Diep Duong. The pack growled fiercely, their red eyes blazing as they charged. Diep Duong calmly spun the shovel above his head. The ground began to glow with bright electric sparks. Suddenly, he clenched the shovel tightly. Many rings of light appeared on the shovel's top, spreading around. Dust and smoke from the ground rose as if pulled by a strong force. The rings of light grew larger and larger. The wolves leapt up, but it was too late. In an instant, many wolves crashed into the rings of light and were sliced in half. Not even a cry was heard. Under the sunset, Diep Duong stood with the shovel in one hand, looking extremely calm, while the other side was the pack of wolves cut in half. The continuous falling describes the scene at this moment as extremely terrifying. At this moment, Triotach was also about to land. He struggled and screamed, tears and snot flying everywhere. It seemed he would make intimate contact with the ground, but unexpectedly, Diep Duong stretched out his arms and easily caught him. Triotach, still not fully recovered, barely stood before kneeling down obediently. But when he saw the scene before him, he couldn't help but scream in shock. "This is the end. It's over. You shake off the wolves, we finish quickly and clean up." A shadow swiftly passed by and disappeared into the thick white smoke. A voice rang out. "Dep Clan leader, you? What move did you just use like a demon beast like that?" Before he could finish speaking, Diep Duong, leisurely leaning against the tree trunk, calmly replied as if nothing had happened, just normal swordsmanship. Meanwhile, Triotach was diligently trying to shake off the wolves. Hearing that, he couldn't help but be surprised and turned to look at him. Normal swordsmanship. A normal sword is sharp. I've seen many that can produce sword flowers. What is that you produced? Diep Duong looked at him coldly and replied, "This is something I'm really proud of. After all, they are that weak." As if recalling something, he added, "Right, I have a question. What's the difference between demon beasts and demons?" Triotach raised one eyebrow and patiently explained, "Demon beasts have not awakened their spiritual consciousness, so they cannot speak human language. Demons mostly can speak human language and have intelligence close to humans," he mumbled, summarizing. "That means demons are also quite formidable. Generally, yes, but some demon beasts are even stronger than demons. The main difference between the two lies in spiritual consciousness." He nodded, showing understanding. "After completing this mission with you, can I take on the #1 path mission by myself?" Triotach coldly replied, "Not at all." Diep Duong sighed deeply, feeling discouraged. "Making money in this world is really hard. Deep Clan leader, don't rush, take your time. If you rush, I have money." Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted. He looked suspiciously in one direction. Diep Duong exclaimed in surprise, "What's wrong?" Two people were running over urgently, shouting, "Help, help!" The two ran while continuously shouting, "Run quickly, demons!" Diep Duong calmly watched them pass by. "Are they demons?" Upon hearing this, Triotach immediately sweated profusely, his eyes dazed, calling out, "Deep Clan leader, let's close our eyes." Calmly, he replied, "It's okay, keep going." Triotach was so scared that he trembled violently. "Let's run!" His hands were shaking uncontrollably. When the electric smoke spread to where the two were, it seemed like only an arm's length remained. At that moment, 3 more people ran out. Long Ka was the one who stayed behind to block. Long Ka might hold them off for a while, run quickly. Suddenly, a loud bang sounded, and Long Ka's large body was thrown far away. Long Ka's large body was thrown to the ground. A wild boar demon with a metal ring on its snout and blazing red eyes full of rage continuously growled, holding a metal club. Slowly stepping out of the thick white smoke, Long Ka was injured, lying flat on the ground, trembling all over, his breathing becoming rapid. He saw the demon slowly approaching, struggling to stand up. Seeing Diep Duong still leisurely leaning against the tree with no intention of running away, he kindly warned the foolish newcomer, "Why are you still standing there? Run quickly." 2 people, a man and a woman, ran away. They turned back, trying to help Long Ka up. The girl anxiously shouted, "Long Ka, are you okay?" He still struggled and shouted, "Go quickly." She helped Long Ka up and saw him still standing there calmly. She gritted her teeth in disdain and shouted loudly, "Long Ka, forget about that useless newcomer." He must have been scared stiff. Just then, the giant club struck again. The 3 people were thrown far away. The wild boar demon roared loudly, not stopping there. It continuously swung the club, striking the group. Long Ka and the others could only struggle to flee. Suddenly, Long Ka collapsed, unable to stand anymore. Dep Duong slowly approached him. Long Ka was astonished. "Newcomer, are you really a demon?" The wild boar demon raised its club ready to strike the two. Dep Duong and Long Ka delivered a finishing blow together. At the moment the club was less than an arm's length away, he still stood motionless without any reaction. The distance grew closer and closer, then suddenly Dep Duong swung his hand like lightning. In the blink of an eye, the war hammer in the wild boar demon's hand was knocked flying into the sky by him. The three from Long Ka's group were astonished to see this. Dep Duong coldly spoke to them. "Out of respect for the person who named the new recruit, I'll run and help you this once." The wild boar demon froze, staring at its empty hand, unable to believe it, slightly moving its fingers back and forth. Finally, it was completely angered by him. The wild boar demon roared loudly and fiercely charged straight at Dep Duong. At this moment, he did not stand still either. He bent down and directly rushed toward the wild boar demon. Dep Duong's solid fist made a terrifying crackling sound. As expected, Dep Duong's fist carried tremendous power. It directly punched through the body of the giant wild boar demon. The faces of the three from Long Ka's group turned pale with endless astonishment. The wild boar demon showed a stunned expression. Its face darkened as it saw on its body at this moment. A deep hole bigger than Dep Duong's body had been gouged out, even allowing one to see through. Moreover, he deliberately jumped through the large hole in its chest. To prove this was not an illusion, just as Dep Duong leisurely walked away a bit, the wild boar demon's body immediately exploded. A gentle breeze blew through, making Dep Duong's hair flutter slightly. He suddenly turned his head to look back. Long Ka and the woman saw this and could not help but be scared. He clutched his chest, still shocked, stammering to ask, "Are all the new people this perverted now?" The woman, either teasing or serious, softly said to Long Ka, "Sorry, I want to go with this one from now on." Hearing this, he looked at her helplessly. Dep Duong approached the head of the large demon and stopped to ask senior brother Triu, "How much is this demon worth, Triu?" Thatch stammered, unable to answer. "At least 1,000 gold coins." Hearing this, he nodded, slightly satisfied. "Not bad. This is enough to start repairing the sect." Hey raised one eyebrow curiously and asked Deep, "Sect leader, you're really strong even among the celestial beasts. You can kill in a second. How strong are you really?" Dep Duong looked up at him without hesitation and replied, "I'm also very curious about the limit of my strength. I really look forward to encountering an opponent who makes me fight seriously." Trio Thatch was so scared his face darkened and couldn't help but exclaim, "Oh my God, Dep Duong leads the way." He didn't forget to turn his head and call Trio Thatch, "Let's go back. Today I'll treat you to a drink. It's been a long time since I saw a bookworm. I wonder if we'll meet today." He hurriedly gathered the wolf tails and blinked in surprise, at night in some tavern. Inside the tavern at this moment, besides Dep Duong and Trio Thatch, there were only a few others. He was already drunk and turned to Dep Duong, trying to persuade him. "It's a bit late, Dep Sect leader. Maybe you should rest early." He bowed his head, expression unclear, and replied, "It's already late." It turned out he was also drunk without realizing it, babbling. "You've never worked overtime like a dog or met Mato at 4 a.m. The tavern owner smiled warmly at him. Reminding Dep Sect leader not to drink anymore, "Someone has come to pick you up." He asked confusedly. "Someone's picking me up." The owner smiled slyly and nodded. "Yes, the senior disciple Lang Nuok Tuyet came before and left a contact method on the crystal communicator. He said if you get drunk, just tell her." Dep Duong muttered, "This girl really likes to worry." The tavern owner reminded him, "Hurry up, the person picking you up is probably at the door." Outside the tavern, many people were bustling by. Someone had been standing at the door for a long time. Dep Duong, drunk and staggering, leaned on the door and went out, just seeing the person outside. He was surprised, burped, and asked, "Oh, is that Tuthu?" She softly called him master. Tuthu blushed, not daring to look directly at him, flusteredly explaining, "No way, senior sister. Because of sect matters, I've been so busy and confused. The other junior sisters couldn't come out. I and the master are just acquaintances. Mainly I work in the city receiving people, which is convenient." Dep Duong, already drunk, basically couldn't hear what she was saying. He curiously asked, "What work?" Tuthu honestly replied, "I work at the southern port unloading goods for merchant ships. Don't look down on me for not cultivating. But my strength is still okay." He seemed not to hear clearly and casually asked again, why? Tuthu's expression became sad as she explained, "I don't have the talent for cultivation and usually can't help others, so during the day I work in the city. I want to earn some money to compensate the sect a bit." Hearing this, Dep Duong immediately comforted her. "Who says you don't have the talent for cultivation?" Before he could finish speaking, he couldn't hold it anymore and bent over to vomit violently right in front of the tavern. Tethu hurried over and loudly called for the master under the tavern door, causing a commotion. "How can I go? I'm going. Please give some water. For the person who doesn't need us to go." Under the starry night sky, Tethu timidly asked, "So, master, should I carry him?" Although he was drunk, he immediately refused, no. But soon after, Tethu was seen carrying Diep Duong on his back, still chattering non-stop, "I'm so happy today." She showed no emotion and let out a sound of surprise. Suddenly, Diep Duong asked, "So is there something making you unhappy? Tell me so I can be happy." Tethu was surprised and softly gasped, thinking he was like a child wanting to hear a story. Seeing she hesitated to speak, he began to shout and urge her to speak quickly. Reluctantly, she stammered, "I want that." Diep Duong leaned his head against the back of her neck and whispered, "You still want to leave the sect?" Tethu blushed and sadly replied, "I'm not suitable for cultivation. I know I'm a fool who always drags others down. Leaving is better for everyone." Diep Duong squinted his dreamy eyes and suddenly realized something. He pointed to the small gourd pendant swinging at her waist and curiously asked, "What is that hanging on your waist?" Tethu exclaimed in surprise, "Ah!" She reached down rummaging and asked, "Are you talking about this?" She raised the gourd keychain. "I bought this with my earnings for the senior sister. This is the only thing she likes besides the sword." Diep Duong was amazed and replied, "She also likes cute things, huh?" Tethu gently replied, "After all, she's a girl and even younger than me. She's really a good senior sister, you know." Actually, Diep Duong was shaking the gourd pendant back and forth and softly exclaimed, "Oh!" Tethu lowered her head, a tear fell from the corner of her eye, and in a warm voice she began to tell the story. "I was picked up by her." The image of Nuoc Tuyet standing in the middle of a field of grass, the wind blowing through, making her hair and white clothes flutter. I was actually very young then. Having been chased out by a sect under the cold rain, Tethu was unintentionally driven out by the people in the sect. "You go. I thought I was a fool. Just reading books makes me sleepy. This is the only path of cultivation." Unexpectedly, I couldn't condense true chi for a long time. Suddenly, Tethu was hit by a resounding slap and fell backward to the ground. Two thugs casually took the money bag and left, constantly threatening, "Humph, I haven't even hit you yet." All right. Get up, just a little scolding is enough. Leave her life so she can still use it later." Tethu crawled up weakly from the ground and shouted, "Give me back my money." The two thugs sneered contemptuously and replied, "Next time, little girl, we'll play with you again. Let's go. Suddenly, a girl dressed entirely in white stood blocking their way. Nuoc Tuyet shouted loudly, "Stop, return her things!" The long-haired thug saw this and pointed at her. He teased his stuff. He smiled excitedly and said, "Not bad looking." But within seconds, the two thugs were lying on top of each other on the ground, with several broken teeth scattered around. Nuoc Tuyet walked over coldly and handed the money bag back to her. At that moment, she felt everything brighten again. Nuoc Tuyet, pure and gentle, said to Tethu, "At that time I didn't want to be abandoned. I had no intention of leaving. Luckily, I met the senior sister. She also took me in." Returning to the present, Tethu continued telling the story. The senior sister had a thought to use her strength to protect everyone. She was actually just a girl. I can't add more burden to her. Suddenly, Diep Duong was silent. From the moment he spoke, "Who said if you can't condense true ki, there's no way to cultivate?" He trembled, pointed forward, and declared firmly, "Don't worry, there are many cultivation paths. Many masters have observed you early on. You have special potential. I will take her place." Before he finished speaking, Diep Duong was overcome by sleep. Moments later, snoring was heard. Hearing Diep Duong breathing evenly, Tethu finally dared to speak her mind. "Sect leader master, no need to force comfort me. You really are powerful in battle, but you still haven't come to us. A few senior sisters still doubt whether you know how to teach disciples." Suddenly, as if remembering something, she panicked and shouted, "Oh no, senior sister told me about this." "Don't tell master," she said, her tone becoming hesitant. "Let's go back first." And so, on a quiet, moonlit night, the figure of a woman carrying a man quickly left. After a while, she finally carried Diep Duong to the top of the bridge. She sighed wearily. "Phew, no true chi, really troublesome. After a day's work, my strength is a bit gone." Suddenly, Tethu turned around in astonishment, and at the same time, a gust of wind swept past the two of them. Below the bridge was the bustling city street scene with bright lights and people passing by. Above was the sky. The sky was full of twinkling stars. Tethu couldn't help but exclaim, "So beautiful!" Diep Duong, hearing this, also dreamily woke up. "The starry sky is really beautiful." She gasped softly in amazement. He swayed, acting coquettishly. "I don't want to go home anymore. I want to stay and watch the stars." Seeing this, Tethu hurriedly tried to stop him, but a drunk person would feel that way. Before she could finish speaking, he had already sat down by himself. Seeing this, she was speechless and reluctantly sat down beside Diep Duong. She raised her hand to her head and gently untied her hair tie. He looked at the scene below and couldn't help but marvel. Really beautiful. Still drunk, he only sobered up for a moment before slumping into Tethu's arms. As she untied her hair, he startled her, causing her to cry out. Tethu blushed and looked at him, unconsciously smiling. In the dark night, the breeze carried dry leaves gently swirling over Khao Chung. As night deepened, everything gradually became quiet. Tethu was afraid of waking Diep Duong, so she only dared to sit still. She silently thought she herself could not sleep. To let her master rest comfortably, just as she was drowsily about to fall asleep, suddenly not far away, a loud explosion shook the whole sky. Tethu was startled awake by the blast. From the explosion, the lucky survivors kept screaming desperately for help. The explosion caused an enormous shockwave. Dust and smoke billowed up. Tethu's face turned pale with fear. She immediately stood up, shocked, exclaiming. From within the thick smoke, occasional lightning flashed. As the fog gradually cleared, 3 demons appeared behind 2 men and 1 woman. Their faces showed contempt as they looked down at the people below. The demon with a scar under his chin sneered, "Humans are so pathetic and weak." The demon with scars on both cheeks looked at the struggling people trying to flee. He disdainfully said, "Wanna run, can ya?" He stretched out his hand, and from his fingertips emerged a stream of power aimed directly at the civilians below. In an instant, countless stones covered by a blue power aura fell down. Seeing this, Tethu was horrified and immediately wanted to rush out. Then continuous earth-shattering explosions erupted. The innocent people ran and screamed miserably. "Help save us!" They fled in panic, struggling to carry their disabled elderly fathers. The demons had invaded. The elderly father on the young man's back turned his head weakly and called out, Who will save us?" At that moment, soldiers hurriedly arrived. The leading soldier ran up anxiously, thinking, "Damn it, hurry up!" The soldier looked up at the sky toward the demons. "Our demon-fighting troops are coming immediately. I won't surrender to the Four Seas City. How can this be a place for demons? You demons dare to invade at will." The female demon sneered. "You're about to die and still stubborn." From the hand of the demon with the scar on his chin, a sphere of power formed, aimed at the soldiers. He forcefully slammed the power down and shouted joyfully, "Who will clean up your corpses? It's all the same." The power sphere shot down swiftly. The squad leader was startled and amazed. In a blink, the massive power struck the soldiers, causing a resounding explosion. The female demon smirked, feigning reproach. "Is it necessary to be so harsh against such weak humans? Do you have to be so heavy-handed?" Suddenly, she exclaimed, looking toward the 2 people still calmly sitting on the bridge. She was surprised. "There are 2 people over there who saw us coming and didn't run away immediately." The female demon smiled wickedly with a malicious gaze. "Men get drunk, then women get scared stupid. I want to play with them a bit." A sudden feeling flashed into Thu's mind. The demon with 2 scars seriously reminded, "Don't waste too much time." The female demon flicked her head dismissively. "I know already." The demon with the scar on his chin couldn't help but laugh coldly. These 2 men and women are really pitiful to encounter such perverts. She laughed cruelly, creating a spark of fire from her index finger. Without further words, she directly shot it down toward the 2 people, Tethu and Diep Duong. Just as she was startled, it was already too late. The small flame, when it fell, caused a considerable shock. In an instant, a wall of fire appeared in front of Tethu and Diep Duong. Tethu didn't have time to think and hurriedly carried him. She struggled to carry Diep Duong while running fast, her breath becoming rapid. The female demon sneered with delight and said, the struggling appearance of humanity. Suddenly, she curled her lips into a sinister smile and then casually swung her hand to throw down 2 fireballs with significant meaning. The 2 fireballs quickly fell simultaneously to the place of the 2 people. They created great tremors. Tethu's face instantly turned purple with endless astonishment. As expected, she was hit. Her mouth spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. From above, the great power of the 2 fireballs was visible, creating 2 deep dents in the ground. Its force even blasted Tethu and Diep Duong far away. A whistling wind sound rang out as she was thrown to a place dragging a long distance on the ground. Diep Duong, unconscious, was also thrown far away. His whole body slid a long way, but he still showed no signs of movement, only his breath gradually becoming rapid. Tethu staggered to sit up, her long hair covering her face. She breathed out tiredly, silently determined in her heart that at this moment she no longer wanted to give up cultivation. Tethu's hand on the ground clenched tightly until it trembled. After all, in this world, only the strong have the right to continue living. Her whole body trembled, tears falling continuously. Unfortunately, she had predetermined she could not cultivate at this moment above. A demon turned around and reminded, "Enough playing right." "End it, her!" The demoness sighed regretfully. "All right, then." "Really sorry," Apu said. From her palm, a fireball slowly formed. The demoness's tone became savage. "You must die." After finishing speaking, countless fireballs continuously rushed down to the ground. Tethu looked at the fireballs falling and felt helpless. She stood up suddenly, blaming her master, blaming herself for being too weak. Tethu used all her speed to try to run toward Diep Duong, but suddenly she stopped. Her feet scraped the ground, creating a swishing sound. She spread her arms wide, standing to block in front of Diep Duong's body. "You must live!" Very quickly, the fireballs continuously fell to the ground, creating resounding sounds from the explosions, creating a giant pillar of fire that brightly lit up a piece of land. Soon only the blazing flames remained. The demoness smiled smugly and satisfied suddenly, as if realizing something. Her face showed suspicion. Then her face darkened again, her expression clearly showing astonishment. It turned out inside her flames was the figure of Tethu standing to shield Diep Duong. Around her was wrapped by a blue protective shield protecting the two safely. At this moment, Diep Duong's voice sounded, "There is something called a magic shield." Tethu was startled. Her eyes opened wide in amazement. Next to Tethu, his hand had unknowingly reached out from Wen. A person without vital energy can also learn. At this moment, he was sitting cross-legged, his hand reaching out to form a protective shield for them. Seeing this, Tethu immediately exclaimed, Master Diep Duong calmly explained, "I confirm through your soul's power that it is very strong, so I choose the profession of Magic Maiden for you." She curiously repeated Magic Maiden. He slowly stood up and calmly replied, "Mage is both a profession and one that uses magic to attack." The three demons hovering in the sky were ignored by Diep Duong and Tethu. "Ah, the demon is still stunned," he exclaimed. "Strange that drunk demon could block my attack." The demon with a scar on his chin laughed amusedly. "He's lucky to have me teaching him how to be human." The demon with two scars frowned seriously, pointed down, and shouted loudly, "You two stop talking nonsense! If this drags on, the demon extermination troops will arrive soon!" Diep Duong's hand pressed against Tethu's cheek, making her face flush. He gently said, "Tethu, you've worked hard." He looked at her with gentle eyes and smiled softly. "Master is now helping you open a new world's door." Then Diep Duong raised his finger, creating a small flame on the tip of his index finger. Tethu looked surprised, staring at the flame with an astonished expression. This was him gently rotating his index finger, making the flame swirl into a magical vortex. Tethu still didn't understand and asked, Does this work?" Diep Duong replied, "You will like it." Then he swung his hand, throwing the small vortex toward Cao Chung. The flame rushed quickly toward the three demons on Cao Chung. The demon with a scar on his chin sneered and said, "What does this human want using this level of attack energy, daring to waste it?" The demoness also sneered, "The speed of this little thing is fast, too." Only the demon with two scars looked at the flame Diep Duong was throwing with astonishment. The flame grew faster and faster, as if tearing through the wind rushing toward him. His eyes turned blood-red, teeth full of blood, and he exclaimed in panic, "Not good!" The demon with two scars immediately turned and ran. "Run fast!" The other two demons looked at him in confusion. The demon with a scar on his chin briefly showed disbelief. Below Diep Duong's expressionless face, lightly snapped his fingers, instantly turning the small flame into a huge whirlpool, causing the two demons to spin around in panic. Suddenly, the scar-faced demon's eyes widened in astonishment. The demon woman also became shocked and terrified very quickly as both of their bodies were cut in half. The remaining scar-faced demon heard the noise and immediately turned his head to look, but what greeted him was a sharp flame. His entire body was cut in half. His eyes showed bloodshot veins, unwilling to die. Streaks of light flashed back and forth, slashing the demons into many pieces as the three flames gradually merged together. Soon they combined into a large flame. Tethu opened her eyes wide in amazement as the demons' bodies fell from the hilltop to the ground. Pieces of debris also fell from the sky. Tethu was astonished and said, "This is the power of Diep Duong's magic." Standing beside her, she affirmed, "This is only basic magic. Of course, the master's intervention made it more effective." Tethu wondered about basic magic, then turned to look at him with a determined gaze, saying, "Master, I want to become a mage." Tethu stated her goal, "A magical maiden is definitely my future." He heard her determination and approved it. Below the ruins, some villagers came out confused and wondering what the sudden explosion in the sky was. Demons. Soldiers with dirty faces looked up at the sky and asked repeatedly, how could all the demons disappear in the blink of an eye? Looking at the suddenly clear sky, the villagers curiously noticed that everything had vanished. Could it be immortals? Poor us, they came to save us? The villager's words referred to Diep Duong, who was now dizzy and faint. He was barefoot and unable to stand steadily, falling down. Tethu turned around in shock and quickly ran over to support him, calling out, "Master, are you okay? Did you lose your life using magic just now?" Diep Duong's face darkened. "Basic magic, what a waste. I feel drunk and uncomfortable, my whole body is limp." Tethu was helpless and speechless, then said, "All right, Master, I'll carry you home." Diep Duong refused, no need, but in the end, Tethu still carried him home. The master fell asleep again. Tethu glanced back and smiled gently, wondering why her master smelled unpleasant when drunk. Meanwhile, in a dark demon valley, a person was sitting on a mountain peak, radiating strong energy. He was also a demon called the Demon Lord. At that moment, a small demon flew to him. Yesterday, the 3 great demon generals entered Tu-Hai City to search for clues. All of them died. The mad demon was startled and panicked. "Impossible! I clearly used a plan to lure the demons out and eliminate them all. How could someone kill all 3? The demon sweated and reported that even his subordinates didn't know. According to Traveler's intelligence, it seemed to be some mysterious young expert. The mad demon was angry. "I don't believe there's such a powerful young person. We must quickly find the thief hiding in Tu-Hai City." The demon subordinates were ordered, "Understood, the thief is from the demon world, stealing our tribe's great secret that no one can protect." Once again, the demon lord reminded us to carefully find this thief. "We must bring back the secret. This secret concerns our tribe and determines who lives and who dies." The demon subordinates resolutely obeyed and returned to the sect. In the resting room, a crowing sound was heard. Diep Duong lay on the chair, sleeping with his mouth open, when suddenly something was thrown at his face with a thud. He opened his eyes groggily and looked ahead, wondering what it was. When he clearly saw the bird, he thought with a deadly gaze, "You finally woke up." Diep Duong was stunned when he heard the bird speak. He sat up and rubbed his head, asking, "Why am I sleeping here? Tethu, that girl threw me here?" The steward bird replied, "Isn't it because you drank so much? You kept yelling that you had to work, running around hugging the chair, but you couldn't leave." Hearing this, Diep Duong couldn't believe it. He actually liked working like that. The steward bird suddenly remembered, "That's right. Lang Nat is waiting outside to see you." Diep Duong asked, "Is she still outside?" "Lang Nat is waiting outside to meet you." Diep Duong asked, "Is she just staying outside?" The butler bird replied, "Yes." Diep Duong then called in, "Nyu Tuyet, come in quickly." She then stepped inside, knelt down, and said, "Thank you, Master, for agreeing to teach Tethu to cultivate." She said, "Starting from today, following the person, she began the path to becoming a magical maiden lady. Although I don't know what magic is, the Master's teaching must be very powerful." Diep Duong thought about the magical maiden lady after drinking. "What did you say?" she stammered. Nuok Tuye lowered her head. Tethu, due to her physical condition, always wanted to give up cultivation and live a secular life. This senior sister was helpless. She bowed respectfully, grateful to meet the Master. "That's really great." Diep Duong walked over, raised his hand, and said quickly, "Stand up." Nuok Tuyet stood up. He waved his hand and turned his head. "The senior sister is not a mother. She worries too much. Sometimes you have to relax a bit. Life will be easier." Nuok Tuye listened and clasped her hands in thanks. "Thank you, Master, for your guidance. I have one more thing to report to you." He turned to look at her curiously. Nuok Tuyet seriously continued to inform that next I must seclude myself for cultivation. Start to break through the soul realm especially. I asked Master for permission to rest for a while. Diep Duong listened and replied that the soul realm divides the levels of this world, it seems. He put his hand on his chin, murmuring to think: martial realm, spiritual realm, soul realm, secret realm, king realm. What else is behind? I forgot. He said, "Chung, you are still young and already starting to break through the soul realm. Truly a genius." Nuok Tuyet bowed her head. "I have arranged all the matters of the sect. If Master has anything, you can instruct the 2 junior sisters to take over. I hope Master allows me to seclude myself. Everything has been arranged properly." He raised his finger to okay, no problem, agreed. "But you still have to be careful whether it's sect matters or cultivation. Don't be too reckless." Diep Duong asked her, "Do you have anything else to say to Master?" Nuok Tuyet clasped her hands and replied, "Thank you. Master no longer cares." She glanced at the flushed face, thinking to herself, thinking about having to seclude for a while without seeing Master is a bit unfamiliar. She suddenly realized what he was saying. She timidly told her junior brother to retreat first. Nuok Tuye hurriedly turned her back and left. He looked at her back and responded with a and stepped outside. She wondered what was wrong with herself. A lifetime decided to dedicate to sword and blade cannot be careless due to emotions. Just then, Ao Duong stood behind, waiting for her to come out. Senior sister Nuok Tuyet heard the call and glanced back. She asked a question that hit Nuok Tuye's dark heart, making her blush. Senior sister would not waver because of master, but would she waver for sword and blade? Nuoc Tuyet immediately turned back and strongly opposed. I didn't say nonsense. Oduong was very determined and replied, Senior sister is the only fan who loves you and to achieve your sword and blade. I will eliminate everything that hinders you. Nuoc Tuyet asked what she wanted to do. Oduong spoke frankly without hiding her intention. If master's feelings become an obstacle to your sword and blade cultivation, then I can dedicate myself to master to receive his feelings and let him give up. Senior sister heard this and shouted, Don't do anything bad. Nuoc Tuyet turned her back and left. Blushing, leaving Oduong behind, confused, I have to go seclude myself now. Oduong remained very determined. Don't worry, I will guard outside and not let master get close. Transitioning to a barren wilderness next door, two people were running for their lives. While running, they shouted, Run quickly, it's the Eastern Magical Maiden. They were drenched in blood called monsters because they pursued power and betrayed humanity, evolving into monsters who would definitely be struck down by heaven. The one in green behind replied, She is now the leader of the 3 great celestial demons and has gone mad, killing both humans and demons, excessively very scary. At that moment, Puong Tin, with rabbit ears on her head, appeared flying up with a demonic laugh that made the two tremble. Eastern Spirit said, Don't come here! She showed no change in expression, looked at them, and screamed pitifully, Let me go! As soon as she finished speaking, she waved her hand to kill. The ground was soaked with blood. After acting, she raised her hand and licked the blood. Puong Tin said, I act regardless of whether the opponent is human or demon. I will not let anyone live without exception. She was crazily happy, screaming with a mad laugh. Stupid creatures should disappear forever from this world. After calming down, she smiled friendly and said she hadn't returned to Vokuk sect for a while. She really missed the sect leader and the old disciple she accepted. Then she walked away happily, saying she would go meet him again. The scene returned to Vokuk sect. 2 stones were thrown outside. Bak Phai in the prison kept mumbling, calling Diep Duong rotten, Diep Duong bad. Bak Phi was holding some stones ready to throw out. Suddenly, a loud laugh came from behind. Puong Tin appeared and asked how the little fox was still not escaped. Bak Phai coldly replied, Need you to worry, I'm enjoying good food in Vokuk sect and basically don't want to go outside. Hearing Puong Tin start to tease, so it's you who doesn't want to leave. I actually wanted to release you by Phi, but you turned around and changed your attitude, really. However, she doubted what the lady said because pursuing power and betraying the infinite sect by abandoning her human identity is absolutely unbelievable. I wouldn't be fooled by Fang Qing standing outside the prison continuously tempting the little fox. Don't rush to conclusions. Listen to my condition first. As long as you promise to bow your head for 1 year and think about a land with great ambition and scheming to help me enchant the emperor of the White Circle country in the far north. Make this nation controlled by me, and now I will release you. Bai Fi turned her back on me and refused this matter. This lady is not interested, Fang Qing said. Didn't you always want to run out for revenge? You will be tied here for a lifetime. What should I do to take revenge? Hearing revenge, Bai Fi was a little shaken inside, thinking of her enemy. Fang Qing knew her weakness and continued, You will drive an entire dynasty crazy. Make the world unable to surpass your enemy. Just complete the mission to help me and I will fully support your revenge. What Bai Fi was continuously tempted, you really are. The ear-piercing scream reached Dongfang Qing, you traitor of the infinite sect who allowed you to run back and tempt the little fox. As Diep Duong stepped forward, he activated silent mode. Diep Duong quietly emitted a sharp aura that frightened Dongfang Qing, who immediately jumped and clung to Diep Duong. Sect leader junior brother finally meeting for the 2nd time. Actually, I secretly ran back because I missed you and couldn't hold it. Ignoring her flattery, he pushed Fang Qing away and said, Stop talking nonsense. I already said if you enter the infinite sect without permission, I will imprison you forever in this demon chamber. Dongfang Qing still refused to stop the act. That's fine, I also need a reason to stay by your side. Then Dongfang Qing turned her mouth toward Diep Duong, making him stiff because he was cursed. I can only marry the new sect leader to lift it. Anyway, we have to consummate the marriage. He cut her off. Don't talk nonsense here. Come outside with me first. I can't beat you, but I also won't listen to you. Her words made Bai Fi very angry. The little fox bristled and cursed enough damn fox she moved away from him a bit. Diep Duong blushed and was speechless, immediately pulling Dongfang Qing away. I'll take you outside. She tried to scream in vain. Don't let me go, Diep Duong shouted. Shut up before the two disappeared. The little fox didn't forget to remind Diep Duong. Don't let this woman be near the fox spirit. She only wants to lure you. Hearing Bai Pi's warning, Dongfang Qing teasingly said Bai Fi is clearly the real fox spirit. The little fox was so angry he was speechless. As soon as he got Dong Fangqing outside, she asked sect leader Junior Brother, "Did you carry me here with an improper scheme?" Fangqing shyly hugged her face and coquettishly said, "I like your restraint so much that it made you explode immediately." Diep Duong forcefully threw Fangqing away and shouted loudly. To keep her away from the infinite sect, a bit sensing imminent danger, Dong Fangqing immediately activated her spiritual power, and in a flash, she was sitting on a rock behind. Fangqing sadly asked Junior Brother, "Will you really not help me? If I don't marry you, my soul state will be unstable and pitiful." He objected, the old sect leader's hands on her body. "Have nothing to do with me. Don't call me Junior Brother. You have long betrayed the sect." Dong Fangqing replied, "I can also change and return under your command." Diep Duong continued, "Just don't cause great calamities, Dongfang. The whole human and demon world will avoid you." "Not provoking you," he added. "I warn you one last time, definitely don't go against the little fox's will." Saying this, he stopped and glared sharply at her, emphasizing each word. "Otherwise, I can only punish you." After threatening, he turned and left. "That's it, I'll go first." Dong Fangqing annoyedly said the little fox is just a demon trapped and banned, yet he cares so much for her. Being hit right on the mark, Diep Duong used the excuse to escape the scene. "Stop talking nonsense. I'm still busy writing cultivation notes for disciples not free to chat with you." "Immediately left the infinite sect," I said. Then he left Fangqing angrily alone and strode away. After he disappeared, she suddenly smiled as if she had found gold. "Sect leader Junior Brother is really interesting. I thought I could escape my demon master. Wait for me to go on a trip to the far north, then continue your cultivation and change scenes." In the demon chamber, yellow talismans were pasted in a row on the iron door as a voice echoed. "Your senior disciple is cultivating but wants to work part-time. It seems she doesn't understand the meaning of cultivation." Diep Duong lowered his head and answered her. "Saving this month's wages. Wait until the end of this month. She will resign, but you came to me just to talk about the disciple, nothing else. I'm leaving now." Inside, the door hurriedly called out. Wait Bok Fi with a dark face interrogated, "Tell me first. Did that fox spirit do anything excessive to you?" "You are scared," answer clearly. "You are the fox spirit." The little fox was so angry that all her tails were revealed. She snapped, "Dong Puong Tin, that ugly woman wants to compete with me for a man. She is still 100 years too early to hear you say that." Diep Duong arrogantly asked, "Here?" Suddenly a fierce battle of wits, then calmed down. "You two, none of you can enchant me." The sharp gaze of the little fox passed over Diep Duong. Suddenly an explosion sounded inside the prison. Bok Fi's feathers scattered everywhere. Suddenly, Diep Duong's expression changed quickly. It turned out Bok Fi had transformed into a human form. She seductively asked again, "Really, people have no attraction?" Diep Duong blushed and refused. "This trick doesn't work on me," Bok Pai shouted. "Then what are you looking at?" He coughed a few times to reduce embarrassment and then answered. "Then I admit you temporarily lead the rabbit, but don't be fooled by her." Diep Bok Fi lowered his head and begged, "Please let me go." "Go, I have unfinished wishes." Diep Duong held her back here. For her in this world, it is safer here. Lok Tan was startled when entering and sensed someone. Diep Duong also turned back to look at her and involuntarily stepped forward to greet. "Hello, Master." He asked. She is the disciple replacing Lang Hip Tuyet to bring food, but absolutely do not talk to her to avoid being enchanted. She obediently agreed. Lo Tan understood. Suddenly, the little fox in the prison shouted, "Diep Duong, you pig-headed guy, you didn't treat people like that before." "It must be because of that rabbit I won't lose." He smiled reassuringly. "Okay, I'm going to the library to find materials. We'll be back soon to see you."